saw it at previous Tier 1 tournaments in the recent months as well. It's been a bit of a trend. Not sure what's going on there, but yesterday they were 1-1 to Bet Boom.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
To be fair, Bet Boom also a really strong team. Not surprised necessarily at that
Right.
result.
Yay.
Let's say something, right? Maybe Falcons are not fully informed just yet.
EWC,
You need to play some games together.
Let's
Maybe you didn't really scream a lot.
Yeah.
Take some time to get warm up. I'm sure today is going to be a much better day for most of the teams. You've seen some tape, not a lot, but 2 games.
Let's go. Halo.
It still gives you an idea.
Halo Julak Cinong, wey, long time no see Julak Cinong.
We are missing out. We are picking.
Semoga
up
suaranya
heroes,
aman
so
ya.
maybe not the best heroes, and
Sure.
there are certain trends that could tell you a lot of about what the true heroes of the meta are. So there's going to be a lot of data, and I think for a team like Falcons, they're going to be able to extract a lot of information.
Nobar.
Yeah, I am quite worried for
Gila, gue udah lama
Falcons
banget
in
gak
this
streaming,
particular
coy.
matchup, as I am with every maybe less experienced team
Halo.
Falcons, because I feel like
Bentar.
the whole
Lagi share-nya
dimension
gua
of
matiin
the
dulu deh.
draft is going to shift. We all know Falcons are hero specialists and they will bring it out regardless of the meta. So for them, it's more about enabling their way of playing into this current form of Dota 2. And that's on their opponents to try
Rune
and figure things out,
Eaters
right?
lawan
You know this team is not
Falcons.
going to play the stock standard way. You know they've already mastered the art of choking you out of your base and just kind of keeping the control. For a slower paced meta like what we have right now in Dota 2, that seems to be a winning recipe. So on paper, you'd assume that Falcons would be in a really good spot in this tournament.
I feel like the meta kind of maybe doesn't really do them
Really?
or give them a good advantage in terms of like how they want to play, because I think they like to have this tri-core tanky core.
Falcons Rune Eaters.
But they don't really have
Let's
absolute
go.
hard carry sometimes in some of their games.
Falcons,
Yeah, they have their carries on the off lane.
Sure.
But right now, I think the meta is about
King
the hard
Reckoning sama
carries on
King
the
Nigma
safe
jam
lane.
berapa,
Okay.
Bang?
The SFs,
Jujur gue nggak
let's
tahu ya
pick
jam
hard
berapa
carry
ya.
on the
Gue
safe lane
baru
that
bener-bener
can also win the lane.
nyampe
That's why
Jakarta
this is
hari
something
ini,
prioritized
pagi
on,
ini.
especially Shadow
Terus
Field.
kayak gue
Yeah.
belum ngecek
And
jadwal sama
I
sekali.
don't know if
Gitu.
that's something that would be comfortable for
Ada jadwal
Falcons
dulu
to
ya.
be doing, because it's not really their style. And I've seen them try to give up the asset.
Tapi
give
coba
away
cek
the
di
asset to their
Wikipedia aja
opponents,
bentar sambil gue
and they
cek.
have some ideas on how to defeat the hero. I think this is something that we might be able to see again today, maybe in one game.
Di grup C ya kalau nggak salah ya. Oh, match kedua jam 9. Jam 9. Itu Rekonik. Nigma Galaxy setengah 7. Setengah 7 malam.
It doesn't really matter. The power of this pick.
Emang kayaknya gue hari ini
the
cuma
first
satu
phase
BO2
is
aja
no
sih.
matter what
Satu best
your
of 2 aja.
opponents throw at- Until now, maybe somebody's gonna prove me wrong, but until now, no matter what your opponents throw at you, he's just gonna be top net worth 10 minutes, 15 minutes, running around hitting your towers. That's the problem with this hero. So if you do not have a solution and your first pick, it's kind of like a disadvantage that you have to ban the hero.
Yeah, absolutely. And yesterday,
Hey,
after
guys.
casting the series between Aurora and Level Up, we had the chance to speak to Mira on Aurora, and we asked him about this SF, and he wasn't shy about admitting that this is a hero with zero solution for them right now.
Yeah.
Like they
Okay.
just straight up do not know, and I feel like most of the that's a very telling sign, because
right.
I feel like most of the times teams would not so
Udah
openly
teamwork ini
admit
ya
that.
The
ternyata.
fact that he
Wah,
said it so
nggak
quickly
lagi.
means that everybody
knows, right? Like it's not a secret, because a lot of the times, for those of you who are a
Let's
bit newer to
go.
this sort of setting, you can't really get that information out of players. They are not willing
Rekonik
to give that up.
lawan
You can, Mike. You can.
siapa
You
lawan
just
Mouse
need-
hari
you
ini?
need- You need to be asking the right
Nigma
questions
lawan
to the right
Aurora.
people, you know.
Sorry, I don't have the years of experience that you do, brother.
Yeah, maybe tell them I'm gonna get you a nice
Right.
big lunch later.
Mm,
I'm gonna take
okay.
you to a nice location.
Okay, maybe
I've discovered.
I've misspoke a little bit. It's not about
Eaters.
specifically the experience. It's just about the art of bribery with you, Winter. I understand.
Jesse
no,
Rune
Mike,
Eaters bagus
it's
dah.
all about persuading, making friends.
Sure. Of which you
sponsornya
have many.
Kia, Cok.
I'm aware. You're a very friendly guy. Of
Mantap,
course. Jokes aside here, we are just
Kia tuh sama
moments
Secret
away
Lab.
from starting off this series. It's going to be a banger, because I think that even though Falcons
Falcons
are the overwhelming favorites coming into this series,
Snaking,
Rune Eaters have
snaking.
shown us
Ada snaking,
they've
teman-teman.
got grit, right? They are not going to take things
Snaking.
lying down. They'll always
Kanan,
try
coy.
and find a way to bring things back into their own hands and at
Yeah.
least throw a couple of punches.
I really like the Doom pick that they had yesterday.
Kalau
I
nggak
do as
ketemu
well.
Mikoto nih
This
seru
could
pasti
be
ya.
a
Pertemuan
key
dua
hero for
mantan
them.
ya.
But at the same time, Falcons, they also
Kayak
a
gini
team
kayaknya
that
gue harus ngambil
likes,
sendok sih
the
buat
Doom.
makan ya.
Yeah.
So this could be a
Rune
contested
Eaters.
hero in this particular series, and
Bagus
I've
banget ya.
seen Falcons when they
Gila, gua, lu bayangin gua
I think Venge is
3
really
bulan lalu megang segitiga itu guys.
He can join the team
I won't hold that anymore guys.
So
This
Ama
year
can farm,
guys.
Marine can farm. So
That's really
that could be a
unfortunate.
hero that I
Okay,
can
what
see
can you do?
Falcons giving,
Life must go on, yeah.
giving away. Just let Rune Eaters have it and they can have their own solution.
Yeah.
I sure do hope that we see a Wraith King against Doom.
I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. If there's anyone who's gonna bring out a Wraith King, is that man on the stage right there. Skeeter loves his Wraith King, loves his Chaos Knight.
But when there's a vengeful spirit in the game, Venge is like a better version of Wraith.
Skeeter.
Yeah. I think the only thing Wraith King has over Venge, if I'm being honest, is probably the skeleton push. Like the skeleton push is pretty strong. Yeah, the ghost push. Man, it's been so long since we've seen Wraith King. I'd like to see him back in the meta, but that's not going to be a matter of discussion for a while.
Iya.
I completely agree with you. I think at least for Rune Eaters,
iya besi sih, bukan aluminium.
I
Karena gue
would
udah pernah
love to
megang
see them enable Malik because I feel like he's one of their star players. He's going to make a lot happen on the offlane. He's going to set up a lot of solo plays for himself as well. And I feel like his decision making in a lot of these engagements and team fights have been spot on. Like the targets he chooses to go for. Maybe there were 1 or 2 moments where he overextended trying to get a kill on the support or something like that.
He's human.
He is human.
It feels,
and that's what's beautiful to watch, right? Because even someone that is as solid as him in terms of play so far, I think
lebih ke arah nobar ya guys ya. Jadi kayak
I think he's gonna be the one to take Rune Eaters to the next level.
Jadi kayak
On the flip side,
nobar
I
kayak
don't know how
stream
you
kan
felt
gue.
about it, Winter. I'm open to
Kayak
your
gue
opinion.
tidak terlalu
But I felt
mengomentari
at least yesterday with the Rune Eaters series, even in the games that they won, I didn't really feel the presence from their carry.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of hard, I think, in some games, but overall I felt like they're still gelling as a team.
Yeah.
ATF,
they are
Amar
new to this level of game, and they're gonna have to learn things quickly,
Amar,
pick things up quickly.
Amar snaking.
And whereas on the Falcons side,
Skeeter,
we know that they have that connection between Amar and Skeeter. Skeeter is always going
ini
to the off
macam belum
lane to
dimulai ya
enable,
ternyata ya.
like through the gates, and you enable the off lane and you get the tower. This has been a topic that we've been going through time and time again in the current patch.
Yeah.
The ability of a team to
go.
abuse the gates to get kills and open up the map. So this is something that you need to really understand when to do, because if you do it at the wrong time as a carry player, you can potentially ruin your game. But at the same time, sometimes you have to take the risk because the offlane hero needs some help. So you have to identify the situations and make the right moves, or even sometimes be willing to make the wrong moves because you have to do something, and it's your role to do something. I think in Falcons, Skeeter and Crit, both of these players, they are the players that are always the people that are doing something on the team. I think Snaking as a 5, he's kind of a lot more greedy, so Crit has to make up for it. You need to have that balance in the team.
Absolutely. And I think the thing that stands out to me the most about the Falcons, adding on to your point, is they rarely make moves that ruin their own game. I feel like especially a lot of their own core players, they don't really end up putting themselves in situations where they'd be like, oh, I shouldn't have made this TP. You know, they're always, Amar especially, Marine especially, always prioritizing their own setup. Okay, no, I'm not going to come because I want to make sure I'm farming up to get towards my key items, towards my timings. Now, looks like we are already knee-deep into the draft. Sorry about that, folks. Looks like we've missed quite a bit. I believe this is underway at the moment, so let's take stock of the situation. Quickly, over the board, Rune Eaters,
Doom, Clockwork, Wind Ranger, Bat Rider,
that snapped up straight off the bat.
Shadowfin carry harusnya, Undying, Ringmaster,
right?
Earth Spirit mid harusnya.
The Doom, Clockwork, Wind Ranger, and Bat Rider can be enough.
Untuk Malrin,
there is some sense of repositioning already. The Bat Rider with the lasso potentially, and it is an Eki signature. So Rune Eaters really bringing out the big guns. Meanwhile, on the Falcon side, you've got some pretty good bodyguards, a decent safe Ringmaster, Undying going to help the SF in that regard, and you have an initiator and Earth Spirit. So I feel like it's coming together pretty nicely. But I'm still not sure how they're going to split
Gua
up
nggak yakin Earth Spirit-nya bakal main ke arah ini sih.
Offlane Undying, is it a mid-Earth Spirit? Is it a crit Earth Spirit? We're still not sure.
Offlane Earth Spirit-nya.
Probably gonna be an Undying position 5 against Doom. I think Undying is very good against Doom.
Earth Spirit-nya kayak dibilang Winter tadi, Earth Spirit 5, Undying-nya 3 gitu kan.
He gets
bisa
bullied out
juga.
by the decay. And number 2, in the team fights, what does Doom want to do? He wants to chase and stick on a target. But with Tombstone, it's very hard. And then you have the shard later to delay the Doom. So Undying is overall a very, very nice hero against the Doom. So I'm expecting Undying to be on the position 5 to protect the SF in the lane against the Doom. And Earth Spirit probably going to be our mid hero, with the Ringmaster as a position 4. So I'm expecting that. And right now, Falcons, they need an off-lane hero. Unless they have some off-lane Earth Spirit that... because I saw 33 playing off-lane Earth Spirit recently, so I don't know if Ama's up to that. Probably not.
Off-lane Earth Spirit?
Yeah. I think
how does that work? I know that Earth Spirit is historically...
Gua ngambil itu dulu bentar guys. Ambil apa? Ambil sendok bentar.
I think they need a frontline tank, you know, some sort of like Centaur's banned. Centaur would have been great for Falcons. So the replacements, what is Ama going to play here?
Wait, Centaur? Yeah, Centaur's banned, TIE Hunter's banned.
Centaur, TIE Hunter banned. So against Wind, he's playing against Wind. He doesn't play the Helm heroes. So he'll probably be thinking of something like maybe a Mars. I know Mars is not a very... It's not a very popular hero because the hero is not that great.
Last pick untuk Falcons.
With this lineup, it protects the SF in the team fight. Yeah. You have a really decent combination. You put the arena and then the SF will pierce them into the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, Axe offline.
The Axe instead because Axe is just
more
stable in the laning phase. Mars is very weak in the lane. So they have some sort of like a late male hero
Earth
against
Spirit
a
mid
carry.
Sama Shadowfin
I kind of like
carry.
the Axe because I think it allows Ama to play very much by himself. At some point,
kayak
the ranger's not
Axe bakal ini ya, bakal farming terus ya, farming ke arah Blackmail Blink Dagger.
The later portions of the game, like with Axe, you want like burst damage from your supports, so you can have like any 2-man that can go with you, smoke, kill a hero on the map. But if you look at their heroes, with Undying with Axe doesn't feel scary. Ringmaster with Axe, maybe it's fine, but it's not like a Hoodwing or Skywrath. You know, those are like two of the best examples with Axe.
Yeah, I guess this Axe is just going to...
It's for the lane.
It's just for himself. Like he's going to play for himself and then not worry so much about a tag team duo with the supports, because it feels like the supports were picked very much for the Shadow Fiend.
They have a very strong lane. Ringmaster with the daggers, with the Axe Battle Hunger, you are definitely going to do well in the laning phase. And here, Rune Eaters, they need to decide what to do here. Are they going to pick a mid hero or are they going to move some of their heroes around? So they're going to pick Puck here. But the thing is, like, Puck is...
Midnya bakal enak nih.
This could be a bit...
Bakal enak banget buat Rune Eaters.
Earth Spirit is a very, very good hero against Puck because of that silence, right? That instant silence that could...
Karena Kopiura salah satu hero andalannya si...
But he probably feels like the supports, which I can agree on this, the supports on the Falcons side, Undying, they don't do anything at all against a Puck. They cannot touch him, they cannot catch him. But the overall composition, does it work? They have a farming mid. Puck is a farming mid. Doom is a farming off lane.
Yeah.
And Wind is kind of the person that needs to move. So can they actually do that? Because yesterday when we saw Dark Lord, he wasn't really comfortable playing the moving hero.
Yeah. Like when he moved, it felt weird.
Yeah. When he's playing the farming hero, it felt normal for him. But this draft, he's the person that needs to move.
I'm not gonna lie. Even though Rune Eaters got a lot of what they want in terms of heroes, I can't
rolling boulder, naikin rolling boulder ya enak guys.
I struggle to see how it all pieces together.
I think overall it could work. It's just whether they can execute it, because it might not be something that they are comfortable with. So I think with the win being a key part of this draft, I think the key thing that he has to do here is the runes. He has to fight for the runes for the Puck, because it's going to be a Puck against Earth Spirit matchup. I think in the laning phase, it's fine. The Earth Spirit is not going to fully bully the Puck out of the game. It's the mid game where the silence is going to be annoying.
Hari ini 1 BO2 aja guys.
So the runes are going to be super important.
Ya kayak Falcon bisa, tapi kalau Pucknya mainnya cepet sih nggak, masalahnya ini Earth Spiritnya ya. Earth Spiritnya late game-nya jelek coy. Spirit tuh late game-nya jelek. Gue masih lebih suka Puck mid.
And Doom also has to kind of...
You think the Doom has to come over as well?
Yeah, he has to. I think not every rune, but some runes, they are going to be more important. I think the 6-minute rune, 8-minute rune, it could be really important. And it depends on what level are you, during the time of the game. Yeah. So there's a lot of small little things that could change the position, but the runes are going to be very important.
Tapi kalau carry-nya sih masih cepetan Shadowfin.
Very, very strong at fighting at the runes. So if you're
lebih suka carry-nya Shadowfin daripada ini.
To fight the runes. If you don't bring the numbers,
they put a tombstone down your cook.
You're not gonna get the runes.
You literally, and I mean, we saw what happened yesterday when Copy wasn't able to get the runes on the Ember Spirit. It's a really big deal. As much as we're memeing about it, Copy's whole play style as a mid laner, he really prioritizes the tempo.
It's not just Copy, any mid laner will tell you, if you don't get the runes,
it's like, what can I do?
You cannot really
Amar actually juga
be that driving force in the game. He can maybe sometimes still come and fight, but the resources are going to be limited.
Kita mulai game pertama guys.
Refill a bottle.
Sure. It's just about, in a way, staying on the map, right? The ability to keep on going, keep taking these skirmishes, and continuing to battle on. Speaking of battling on, we have our first game on our screens. It's Falcons against Rune Eaters here to start us off today. Already saw Rune Eaters put up a pretty good fight against another tier 1 team, Extreme Gaming, yesterday. You know, a bit of messiness, admittedly. Not really the best performance from them. Still needed some time to wake up,
stream
but
ininya
overall,
aman kan? Karena gua nggak bisa matiin suara, nggak boleh matiin ini suara streamer aslinya.
Else. They were not willing to call these GGs. They were forcing Extreme Gaming to fight
Skitter
tooth and
carry
nail for
sama
every
Wind
inch
Ranger
that
carry
they
ya.
wanted to take off the map. Even at the last moments, tier 4's down, mega creeps, they were still battling it out to the end with their buybacks. So, I mean, if you love a good underdog story, you want to be following Rune Eaters across these next few days, because I think they're a team that can come up big. But this is one of the series where they can prove themselves. They've already taken a game off one of the big dogs, and it's doable, right? Falcons in the opening stages of these group stages could be slow starters. You know, we don't really know about what their form is at the moment. That's something Rune Eaters can take advantage of.
They do have the SF and ESL. I think these are two heroes that are really top tier heroes right now. Especially the Shadow Fiend. It's going to be a very difficult hero to shut down. But if you look at the setup they have, I think it's going to again, come down to Dark Lord on the.
Wah, itu kenapa ininya Lotus Haven anjir?
The Doom is going to have a hard start to the game, but they can elevate the pressure by bringing supports over through the game, or the carry.
Lotus Haven mah ini. Valorant.
We're talking a lot about Rune Eaters and sort of their main plan, right? Would you say it's fair to conclude Rune Eaters are planning to play around mid lane?
I think it depends on the state of the game. The runes are important, but it's also important to allow the Doom to have a game, like to get his tower, to get a kill. Like SF is a hero that if you can kill him once or twice in the laning phase or the first 10 minutes, it's going to significantly slow down his tempo in the game, his momentum. He's a very momentum-based hero. If you give him a good start, he farms very quick, and you kind of feel like, damn, I can't really stop him anymore because he has too good of a start. And they take the Roche, they take your towers, and you just lose. So it's very important to be able to get a couple of kills, at least 1 or 2 kills on the SF in the early game. And that's going to fall onto the wing.
Okay, nice.
I guess it has to be a cascading situation, right? Because you go to the mid lane on the spot.
First blood.
That was very nice.
Nice
Bat
banget.
is very good against Undying in the lane because of that.
Malik.
There's only a few heroes that can out-trade the Undying in the lane, and Bat is one of them. Like the stacking damage from the Smoldering Radiant, you just can't trade into that, and on top of
padahal ya,
Infernal
hitboxnya si Pak tuh lebih pendek, enggak ada yang lebih panjang dibanding.
This is why they picked the
apa namanya? Dibanding.
Nice. On the Skeeter as well, not just the first blood. Bringing down Skeeter in the top lane. You said they needed 1 or 2 kills on the SF. Well, they're starting early.
Siapa?
Always nice to start before he gets level 3. The moment SF gets level 3, you're gonna feel the heat.
The razors are gonna make your life.
Tapi di sini insya Allah nggak kena copyright guys, karena gua co-streamer udah di ACC sama EWC. Jadi gua nge-co-streamnya nanti
Ecky's a bit of a polarizing
Dota sama
player.
Hawka.
You know, some people think he's goated, some people think he's
lah.
But what I can tell you is overall, I think Ecky is damn good at Bat Rider. That is one thing that's absolutely for sure. Ecky can play a mean Bat Rider. In fact, I'd go so far as to say I think Ecky is the best Bat Rider in Dota 2. And I don't think anyone would dispute me on that. So to have him on his hero like this...
Can I have a say on that?
Yeah, no, please weigh in. Who do you think is better than Ecky at Bat Rider?
Support Bat Rider.
Aku tiba-tiba overlay-nya muncul di bawah.
I've seen some good core Bat Riders coming out from Ecky as well in his pubs, brother.
Yeah, this is definitely his best hero. It's kind of hard to find a player that can top that.
Nah, there's a difference between being his best hero and him being the best at that hero. I'm telling you about the ladder.
Ini kita nobar santai aja.
Fair enough.
Nggak yang kayak gua nge-catch atau apa, karena gua co-stream ya.
You have your bias.
Jadi kayak apa namanya?
Hey, I'm just calling
orang
it how
nonton
it is.
fokusnya di
I've seen him win enough Bat Rider games now. He's
aja.
put out pretty good
Betul, ini
track
yang
of staking.
temen gue
This is where the level 3 of the SF, like you mentioned, starts to come into play. It's a lot harder for the bench to just full commit, stand there and trade when the threat of the razors is there.
Yeah, they need the gate gang soon. Like minute 4 and
Winter.
a half, they need
Winter kan
the wind or the clock to come over, or maybe
juga,
even
terus juga
dia
the
SF.
Apa namanya?
You
pernah
look at the wards,
Emang dietingnya memang yang di Winter Spot.
Jir,
gue mau taruh di mana, coy?
Protect the SF, and they place the gate ward on the Rune Eater gate. So this is going to be a ward that's not so easily dewarded. This is something that I've seen teams starting to do. Usually you place your ward on your own gate, but the enemy comes through the gate and they get a D-ward. So they wouldn't expect you to place it on the other side, on their gate, you know.
Yeah, it's all about the mind games. I will say that I'm starting to see the rationale behind the Axe pick, because if it is so important for the SF to get gate ganked, the fact that the Axe is just shoving the wave non-stop into the Wind Ranger's tower and cutting creeps means that I don't think Dark Lord and Ike can go anywhere.
It's also because he's harassing with Battle Hunger. You're constantly maybe at 60% HP and you don't really feel like you want to go to the gate.
Yeah, you ain't got the resources, right?
Yeah, that's also the other problem here. I mean, you can see the Doom and the Bat, they're kind of waiting for back. They know that they can't contest the Undying and SF anymore. They're just waiting. CS-wise, Doom has 15 CS, SF has 27.
Spirit, 28/4.
Top 3 CS
masih
oke
kok ini.
Falcons. That's
Apa
what you
Earth
like
Spirit?
to see if you're a Falcons fan, but anyone playing against them, I
Earth
mean,
Spirit lawan
it's a slippery slope. They can very much catapult this out of control.
Bantu like-nya teman-teman ya, bantu like-nya teman-teman kalau berkenan teman-teman.
Axe last pick and right now Skitter killing the Bat again.
Mati.
Goes down.
And Malik's gonna try and turn around.
Oh, that is a nice glyph. He keeps the Battle Hunger on. Dark Lord does not have the resource right now.
He's gonna try though. Power shot in 2 maybe can snipe down crit, but
he's in trouble.
Amar still
Tapi
keeping
Amar
the
langsung ke
vision
hutan
out.
gitu ya?
Yeah, Dark Lord not really having the best of times. Pause 1 Wind Ranger. 24 CS.
Yeah, this is a problem, you know. He can't leave the lane. He's constantly harassed. He's low on HP, low on mana. And Doom is kind of waiting. It's night time, and you see Skitter, he's also at half health, so he's also being really, really cautious.
Ini
he
udah,
has a ward that scouts everything, so he knows how far he can farm in the lane. And they're not really finding any other breakthroughs on this SF, and Skitter is doing a good job by being very cautious as well. And 6-minute power route is going to come up, and Park has gone back to base.
Masih dipindah-pindahin coy, sponsor ini ya.
Falcons should be the ones
Sponsor
having the numbers here.
Jadi kayak gua masih harus
pindah-pindah gitu. They're TPing the Park in. The 2 supports on Rune Eaters are coming over. 6-minute Rune.
Boulder, nah ditendang ya. Rune spawnnya di atas. Nice.
This is a very big deal. Like, Park getting this Rune. It means that Falcons have to play very defensive for the next 2 minutes.
Vital Polywalk Champ.
You don't want to dive towers. You don't want to push your heroes in an aggressive position here to give the Park an easy TP to kill.
Yeah.
Alright.
His eyes are wide open, fixator on the minimap right now. He's just looking for any opportunity to use this Rune. But with the side lanes going the way they are at the moment, I'm not sure whether Rune Eaters want to get things going. There's a lot of pressure mounting up both on Dark Lord as well as Malik and Eki. The crit's gonna
power shot.
Take a few shots. Let's tame the beast, push Ike away. I mean, so far in this lane, I don't think the Clockworks felt quite as oppressive as it usually does. Amar and Crit have done a good job keeping him and Dark Lord at bay.
Yeah, Axe and Ringmaster, they are very, very strong lanes. Not easy for the Clock and Win to kind of exert the amount of dominance that you normally would see from this lane.
Apa namanya, ngambil itulah pokoknya.
And just more little things going on right now. Nighttime using the sentries to block off the camps. They know that the Doom is behind and he needs something to recover. I mean, if they could bring the
menit 7-2-3 sih skornya oke lah ya. Bentar, gue penasaran delaynya berapa lama sih.
Rune Eaters, they need to stop that from happening.
Dia nggak delay ternyata.
Here, but just doing a little poke.
That's unfortunate. It looked like Malik wanted to full commit, but I believe there were creeps blocking his path.
Ternyata match ini nggak delay, guys.
He ended up walking off to the
right.
Gila,
stream no delay, coy. Respect.
That's not what he wanted for sure.
This early game is something Falcons wanted for sure. They were able to just keep farming on all 3 lanes. SF is
Brownie Dorman Curio. Wow, untung shackle shotnya masuk, guys.
This is looking really good for Falcons here. The first 8 minutes.
Masih ada Battle Hunger.
I've seen this movie before. I know what happens when an Axe just goes uncontested.
Oh, Dreamboy kena 2 di sisi bawah.
Mid lane fight. Looks like there's a call onto 3 heroes as Eki's trying to
Tombstone.
run. Dark Lord should be fine, able to get himself under the tower. But now Eki will get run down. He retreated up to the north instead to try and draw attention away from the rest of his team.
Kasih lagi. Blood Grenade.
Crit still sticking
around. Boulder, buset, dikejar beneran coy.
Following up with a rolling. Say the Doom's TPing in. This is gonna be a big fight.
Save.
Has the ultimate available.
Nice Doom. Nice Doom. Requiem.
Falcons trying to help their mid lane.
Spirit harusnya masih survive sih.
Successful in doing so, but now Skeeter's the one under fire.
Mana winning gripnya? Mana winning gripnya? Kagak ada winning grip. Nah. Nice.
Naikingnya mati tapi. Demon for Demon Lord there.
Very important rotation from Malik. They're coming
Rotasinya
in to make
bagus.
sure that he can actually get the Doom off. They don't kill the ES, but they stop Maureen from doing his combo. He couldn't get the Magnetize going. He couldn't get his damage on, so he had to back off and hide. And Skeeter became very vulnerable after that. That was a very important fight for Rune Eaters to bring the numbers, right? They brought the numbers, they were able to fight them off, get some kills, and that gets them back into this game.
Absolutely.
Disarm.
Still a bit of a climb left though.
Oh, ketahuan dong.
Trying to peel Amar and snaking off of their tier 1 in the bot lane. Nice shackle. Full ceaseless dirge, that's an awkward situation for snaking, getting caught with his pants down. Will go back into the grave, but Amar manages to escape. So 3 heroes in for support kill. I mean, it's something for Rune Eaters, but at the same time, you can't help but feel like Rune Eaters need a bit more.
I think it was okay. I think the dying kill was pretty big because he just died and he TP to the lane. And every time you can kill a hero and he's dead without TP, it's always a
gue harus
nice
beli
kill.
lampu deh.
I think nowadays,
net.
hang on a minute,
Calling boulder.
He's in trouble.
Winning
Getting
rip.
rolled on.
It's still pretty tanky though.
Lagi. Kayak tadi. Oh, ini mah replay,
I
anjir.
feel like I've seen this.
Same movie. Is this a replay?
Ini replay, anjir.
This is a replay. We just went back in time. Not sure what's going on here.
Ini replay. Nah.
Aduh. This is a replay.
Aduh.
Yep. There is a replay in the top right corner. Yeah, no. So this is a replay. We got a little bit confused.
Production, tolong. Aduh.
Okay, but the fight's breaking out here back to live. This is real. This is happening.
Nah, ini baru yang benar
This is
ya.
definitely happening right now.
Aki's still level 5. That's rough on the Bat Rider. No lasso to work with, but able to get away out to safety.
Yeah, getting chased by a huge zombie. Gotta run. So that's a nice poke from Rune Eaters. They force out the Flash Golem is a pretty big spell to use. You know, a very long cooldown.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, it also does a lot.
Main
so
Fog sih.
Makes sense.
Main Fognya bagus nih, Maureen nih.
On the Doom, he might be able to solo kill him if he doesn't have his ult.
Tapi dia udah level 9, dia mau ke arah Drama of Endurance. Rolling Boulder, kena silence, ditendang lagi. Hap, Magnetize, Doom, buka Doom. Ada Maliknya mati sih. Malik sih mati sih. Requiem? Nggak bisa Requiem. Oh, dia Dream Coil. Oh, nice.
He's trying to get involved and use his early game powers, but it's costing him his life. I don't know whether there's a point where it stops being.
Kemarinnya sih masih bisa survive sih, actually.
I mean, at the same time, they got a 2-for-2 trade. It's not so bad. Doom was used. What did Falcons use? They kind of used Magnetize. I think over the trade was fine. You know, they created some kind of pressure, and now Amar can maybe try to get the tower, but Malik is here again. He's seeping in. He says no.
We talked about this Doom being a major factor. Controlling the game for
ATF-nya bakal
Rune.
mati.
He was able to do a lot versus
Enggak ternyata.
And now trying to do the same here in this opening game versus Falcons. Won't find purchase on the Axe though, a bit too quick with the phase boots.
The third rune of the game going to copy. He's gonna have to use this AD rune to kind of conjure some magic on the map. You know, so far Maureen is the one. He's the one dictating the pace. He's making the rotations. He's pressuring. He's gonna have his Magnetize again soon. He has the Vessel done. So the Puck has to answer to the pressure of the Earth Spirit. Oh, that's a pretty nice spot. They don't see him. I mean, I think they have a good idea that he's
wah, hookshotnya nggak masuk. Hoi, Dream Coil kena 2 tapi nggak ada. Oh no. Oh no. Double kill snaking.
That's a second kill. Need to try and find return to copy those zombies chasing him down. He's not working with a lot of HP. Needs to peel him off his back.
Lah masih bisa dong. One more hit, sumpah. Sumpah tinggal 1 hit. Dar, triple kill. Nice snaking. Well played snaking.
Big man in game as well. A lot of impact with this Undying.
Nice.
He's went to bodyguard and he absolutely
first 10 kill berarti buat Falcons.
Not done just yet.
Mau bisa ultra. Ha!
Positioning, but it's not gonna matter. Still had the whip to keep Malik in place. No TP's out for you, and that's gonna be a Skeeter kill that he'll happily collect.
4 dong dia dapat ya. Nice
that
banget.
Last exchange there, hugely successful for Falcons. They made the Doom TP in and he dies. They lost the fight.
Oke, masih lanjut.
He's gonna be pressured here because his team
bawah lagi di push juga.
And now he's careful focusing him down because of the blade mail, but still Rune Eater showing expertise.
I mean, this is still really good for Falcons. Exchange. They had to use a lot of HP and mana to kill off the axe, and they lost their Puck. and they lost their Doom on the bottom side of the map. Though. So overall, I think Falcons, they're still pretty happy of the situation. As long as they can keep, farming the jungle camps, pushing out the waves, getting deep wards down, finding the pickoffs, and SF is the one still on top of net worth. This is really, really nice for them. They're going to be able to get Roche when it moves to the bottom side during night time. They have SF, they have Undying. Those are heroes that allow you to just get that Roche on the dire side.
Is there anything that Rune Eaters can do to try and contest that Roche? I'm thinking long-range AWP, long-range power shot. Surely it's not as simple as you're saying, right? Like, there's so many tools they have on Rune Eaters to stop this.
If they can find the information when is this going down, they need to see the SF. Where is he positioned on the map? Because SF and Undying, the Roche is gonna go down very, very quickly if you're not.
Late game-nya sih penasaran gue. Harusnya sih late game-nya late game SF ya, tapi hookshot ada Doom masuk. Buset. Gua ulti cuma buat ringmaster doang, coy. What do you think, guys? Beda. Wah, ini mau langsung counter nih. Langsung di counter nih. Udah tahu nggak ada dua ulti soalnya.
They're gonna scout out the exact location of the Doom.
I mean, Malik died here just 1.5 minutes ago. He's gonna make the mistake of showing his face and I don't think
tendang,
he's gonna get out.
Tendang, nice, nice banget, nice banget.
Wow,
both of them escape space.
Yeah, I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Bisa nendang gitu, coy.
Whiff there from Malrine.
Yeah, but the thing with how you are playing ES nowadays, you don't really max the roll. So the roll is gonna be level 1. It's gonna be a low level spell. You're maxing the kick and the silence first.
Yeah, for the damage.
So if you miss your roll, then that's it. You won't have another stun.
A bit more punishing, that's for sure. Still at that level 1. Gone are the days of level 4 rolling boulder at like level 7. Falcons TP in to try and defend this tier 1 tower that was under siege. Just a bit of HP left.
Yang nonton banyak ya ternyata ya. Bentar, ada Papis, Flame Break.
The Flash Golem and Tombstone. My goodness, he's so tanky. And Eki's gonna pay the price for this. Magnetized Wit, that gets brought down.
Absen dulu guys yang lagi nonton guys.
Triple kill and snaking earlier
yang lagi nonton absen guys.
Reveal there from Amar.
Gak boleh. Jim Coil, Kopi Ura. Battle Hanger.
Slightly off the mark there. Narrowly missing the kill onto Copy.
Alright.
Can they just walk in and just hit Roche? There's no Doom. Punk's low.
There is in fact no Doom, and I am not sure whether they noted Dark Lord's presence in the top lane on Rune Eaters.
I feel like they can just do Roche.
Well, that's exactly what they do, and I heard a Flesh Golem in the Roche pit, and that is what is going down. Undying and Shadow Fiend versus Roshan. I know how this story goes.
Roshan.
Well for our beloved friend in the pit. I mean, the items are starting to come together, Winter. Like you said, Falcons can very much play at a fast pace thanks to this Shadow Fiend. And even though this meta might not necessarily favor them, right? We're used to seeing Skeeter sacrifice his game a little bit more. He's not really playing a lot of these be-all and all hard carries. When you get a hero as strong as the SF in the draft, you're just going to roll over everyone else regardless of whether you're comfortable.
First rush drop. Presented powered by STC.
Yeah, he has 3 deaths and you look at his net worth.
Ada Roshan sponsor sekarang ya, respect.
And he's still 8.5k net worth.
That's just the power of the Shadow Fiend. So much damage and an insane ability to farm as well.
And not to mention, he's such a lane dominator.
Yeah.
I think
he don't lose lane!
Yeah, the biggest value of the hero is you just pick the hero early and you don't give a shit, about who's the offlaner. You're gonna win the lane no matter what.
Yeah, we heard it from Mira yesterday. No one's found a solution yet, and I don't think Rune Eaters with their Bad Rider Doom. I mean, it was cute, right? They got first blood, they got a couple of kills, but then SF hit level 3, and it all went downhill from there. Of course, as you always like to tell me, Dota 2 is not an isolated game, right? You have teammates. On paper, Rune Eaters were supposed to be able to make that gate move over. But
are you talking about pubs or are you talking about competitive games? In pubs, you definitely have no teammates.
Competitive games, of course. No, I'm talking because you were mentioning how we'd like to see maybe the Clockwork or even the Wind Ranger come through the gates, but because of the Axe pick along with the Ringmaster, that just was not possible.
The lane pressure was just too much.
Yeah.
I think maybe they could have found a way. I felt like maybe there was a half chance, because you won't get a clear chance to move. Sometimes you need to take a risk with a half chance.
Yeah. Even if it feels a little bit bad, even if you're not like full resources, you might be able to make something happen.
Against good teams, you're not going to get like an obvious opportunity to get a kill,
Yeah.
It's always going to be maybe you go, maybe you don't get a kill, maybe you die, You have to take a chance.
It's not always going to be an ideal situation, especially not against Falcons. They're always going to make you work for it. And right now, Rune Eaters definitely on the back foot, even though the gold deficit isn't very much. You get the feeling that Falcons can roll over any team fight they run into, while Rune Eaters, they're kind of just picking at scraps on the map.
Wonder, magnetize, Love Wonder.
That is perfect.
Mati dong
Exactly what you
Dark
want to see from Crit.
Anjay.
One of the best Ringmaster players alongside Whitemon. I mean, that was a thing of beauty.
It was a perfect placement with the perfect combination with the whip, you know, follow up after the rolling.
Yeah. That's not an easy target to hit as well. Wind Ranger's got high move speed with the Wind Run, hard to estimate, but Crit and Maureen tag team together to get it done.
Such a big kill. Now it means that Tormentor is probably going to be very difficult for Rune Eaters to contest. The Wind is going to respawn about 20 seconds.
Tapi gimana guys menurut kalian guys so far?
So they have 10 seconds to decide whether they're going to make a move.
So far
but
game ini
so you're
masih cukup berimbang ya.
This is why it's so powerful
Eaters
to
lawan
get
Falcons ini.
the Night
Kayak kedua-duanya tuh masih bisa saling jual beli serangan gitu loh. Kayak anyone can win this game technically.
They are trying to fight.
Bad Rider-nya mau ke arah core staff harusnya. Flaming Lasso, hook shot, Dream Coil, kebuka semua coy 4 ulti gila. Wait, 4 ulti cok.
Really nice catch there from Rune Eaters, and this is what we know and love from this team. They're not going to take a loss lying down. Winding up the Requiem on the sideline. Looks like Doom's been caught. No chance to pop his ultimate. Chopped off at his head. And now Ike's in an awkward position.
Oh, that was a big blunder by Malik. They're showing on the lane. Just his team just showed. They killed the ES. And you cannot show on the lane after that just happened. Because the opponents know precisely where your teammates are. So I guess they were kind of maybe overestimating how far away the Falcon heroes were. Maybe they were expecting them to be nearer to the Tom, but they were around the Earth Spirit, so they were in a position where they could punish Malik right away.
Yeah, that was definitely a lapse of judgment in my eyes, because it almost felt like, I don't know if you thought about it, but
he needed to be more careful that he cannot afford to show himself in the lane.
It looks like he thought that they could fight because the Earth Spirit was there.
Yeah, but he was so far away.
Yeah, I mean, they were not even close. And if you take stock of the situation, your team literally used all their ultimates to kill that Earth Spirit, right? That was the Lasso, that was the Focus Fire. You don't have any more team fight tools. So if you show yourself like that, you're giving away the one last tool that you have in the Doom. So a rare blunder there from Malik, based on what we've seen so far.
Ditarik dong.
I feel like his decision-making's been on point up until, you know,
yeah, it's kind of tough. I can understand where you're coming from. Crit, he finds a pick.
Love Wonder, Tame the Beast.
Set up, you just can't miss. All the wheels of wonder for you to look at here in
Dream
Paris.
Coil.
Enjoy the show.
Akse mati dong.
Rune Eaters, they're not going to be too happy about that. A trade 1-for-1 in the bot lane. Looks like Amar was able to find Copy, but Copy put out enough damage to take the axe down as well. Because Amar's going to be happy about that situation because he got the EXP, but gold-wise, I don't know whether that was worth it.
I think overall it's worth it for Amar. He got the XP. The XP is huge.
Okay.
Alright.
Now another Rune fight. Maureen rolling in. So it was Invis Rune by Malik. He picked up an Invis Rune.
Yeah.
Not sure if he can actually use this right now. He is going to try to finish his BKB, I presume. He needs to finish BKB in the fights. He's getting controlled by the ES. He's getting feared by the SF. And not to mention the Undying Zombies, you know, he needs BKB, otherwise he's going to get kited forever in the fights.
The Undying Zombies are proving to be such a big problem in these engagements.
Yeah, it's very hard for the Doom to stick on his target against the Tombstone. If only you could focus fire the Tombstone, Mike. If only.
Would you? Do you think you would? Like, would you use your ultimate focus fire on the Tombstone even if you could do it?
The Tombstone is an ultimate. In my mind.
Yeah, no, I get that. But then you lose so much damage from not being able to focus fire any other hero.
I mean, it depends on the fight. If it's a good Tombstone and you can get vision of it, you want to kill it, then why not? You know?
I mean, that's also another topic that we didn't really discuss, right? As Eki's going to be picked off here. The Undying was a pretty early second phase pick, but Rune Eaters didn't fully respect it. I feel like their perspective was, we have a bad rider and that's going to do fine versus Undying in lane. It obviously didn't really pan out that way.
Yeah.
And then now you don't have a Tombstone hitter in the fight is my main concern, Winter.
And not to mention, the fear from the SF, the Requiem, is going to protect the tomb, and there's the magnetize. You can't really fight.
There's also the call as well.
And the wheel. Like, if you just compare heroes, team fight at this point of the game without BKBs is going to favor Falcons a lot.
So what are you trying to do on Rune Eaters? Do you play for the pickoff? Because I feel like I haven't really seen them do that.
13-18 kalau ngeliat win propsnya harusnya sekarang di 6-2. 2 buat Falcons.
And he has an A on this as well, assembled, so he knows that he can survive if he's getting caught when he's pushing the waves far away.
Push lagi.
Oh, this is gonna be a big one.
Trying to get the AD Rune lifted out. Malrine in some trouble, but that's a fresh BKB on display. He's
gonna
be the king of this fight, and there's nothing that Rune Eaters can do about it.
Waduh,
just
Doom.
has to escape. There's a Doom out onto the Earthspirit.
Oh, nice save, Tombstone.
And even the Requiem thought about to try and protect him. Dark Lord simply cannot commit. Doesn't want to waste his BKB, but might continue to be chased down. Ahmad dodging that power shot, ready with the blink, in with a perfect call, pulling in this Wind Ranger. She's trying to run all she can, but the 4-star swallow.
Sakit banget right clicknya si Skitter.
But the hills aren't going to protect him here. Blade Mail, you got to challenge.
Big BM.
Oh, it's a tail as all its time, Winter. We've seen this one before. You try and focus fire, Blade Mail, you got to sentence yourself to death.
Gotta make sure you tell somebody to get you a Vlads. I'll buy a Satanic later.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm sure he's telling his team, come on, guys, like, you can't let this happen to me. But that sequence of events
udah mulai,
really rough for Rune.
Rune Eaters udah mulai crumbling sih menurut
gue. He was
gue.
supposed to live, I think. He needed to just run away because he tried to go back and land a 2-man
Udah mulai crumbling manja sih ini.
Rejoin the fight.
Rune
If he
Eaters.
just left, I mean, you might be able to see it. So the lasso starts off.
Tapi untungnya langsung di ini ya, langsung di apa? Langsung di Yul, Batrider ya. Jadi kayak Batridernya harus punya apa? Punya BKB juga.
And then he could have just left on the win. I think choosing to use Doom on the ES and trying to commit on the win was a very, very bad decision. They just needed to let the supports die there to minimize their losses.
Yeah, it was a bit odd. I feel like usually Dark Lord would just dipski do on out of there, but he feels like it was a bit split. I will say,
I mean, there was maybe a chance they might be able to fight.
Okay.
Hook shot.
Here's a hook shot. This one landing is going to make a difference, but beautiful save there from Malrine. Pulls him in and kicks him out. I got you, bro.
Best friends indeed.
Yeah. I mean, they were lying down on that TI stage together. That's a bond that something simple as a pickoff can't break.
I mean, state of the game-wise is still in a position where Rune Eaters can definitely still find a way back into the game, but they need to be patient. I think the last couple of minutes were kind of unstable because they were rushing. They were trying to be too aggressive when they could just back off and, you know, sacrifice one hero, whatever. You know, somebody dies, you have to just let him die and try to find something elsewhere. They keep trying to save each other, which I feel like in some games it might be okay, but in this instance, because Falcons has much bigger team fight lineup, you need to accept your losses and move on. And your time in this game is to find pickoffs.
Dagger iyo buat
especially the
buat apa? Escape sama.
The puck needs to push out the waves
Surviving.
The win, and the other three heroes needs to look for pickoffs, you know. But so far, Falcons have always been the ones being in the smoke and looking for the first contact.
Gua mendengar ada winning rift barusan.
Sometimes they don't
necessarily udah land the spell. Lah, kena dompaknya. Ion Beast, coy.
Chain stunned into oblivion, still managing to phase shift. Don't think I'll be able to get out of this one. Trying to get in the tree line,
right click
down by
Skitter.
That is rough, man.
That was a little bit unlucky. He might have been able to escape that if he actually.
Udah bingung tuh, udah bingung. Gimana cara menanginnya? Gimana cara closingnya aja sih ini. Si siapa?
He blinks next to the SF. He has no idea where is the SF, and he just blinks to the wrong place.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, you know, the Falcons' plan is Delta split, cover as many blink locations as possible. Just unfortunate guess there.
I mean, the problem is you can see what I'm saying. Like, they're pushing the lanes, and they're getting picked off by Falcons. They're not using the lanes to make the first move, you know, on the Doom and the Bat. Like the Doom and the Bat and the Clockwork, they need to be doing this, you know, instead of letting Falcons do this to them.
Bisa tiba-tiba 4 hilang gitu di sisi situ.
High level play. Rune Eaters know that Falcons are doing rush, but they only use 2 heroes to do rush, and then send the other 3 heroes to hunt the split pushing rats on the Rune Eater side.
Yeah, nothing found for free, and that was a altogether very messy attempt there, right? Because Rune Eaters, at least the Bat and the Doom, they were positioned very aggressively in the enemy jungle, trying to take what they can. Didn't find anything other than their own devs, and then Ike tries to make a hero play, diving into the pit that's infested with zombies. you are not making your way out of this one. I mean, I just feel like the support duo from Rune Ethers, they haven't really picked up much in this game so far.
They're just getting run over. I think it's not just the support, it's the team in general. They're not really understanding the jobs of the heroes. What are they supposed to do? How are they supposed to play the game? You know, they need to push out the waves and find pickoffs on the bat and the doom. You know, they need to hide and pick heroes off. And that just hasn't really been happening. They have the tools to do it, but they're just not executing. Like on the map, if they're running into Falcon team as 5 heroes, they're not winning any fights with their heroes. No way.
Falcons on the prowl there. They spot a hero, they snipe a hero.
Yeah, so the first thing that needs to happen here for Rune Eaters, they need to push the
udah mulai
waves. They need to
kencang, udah mulai kuat nih
find a way
aksnya
to
juga.
shove the waves out, to force Falcons to split up, to deal with the waves. If the waves are not pushed out and Falcons are always fighting together, you are not going to be able to do anything on the Rune
Power
Eaters
skill powered by Lenovo Legion ya.
Theoretically shouldn't even be possible. How you not? Falcons are always 5 together, but somehow your waves are always pushed in, and you're being picked off.
Yeah,
these
it
spots on
shouldn't be
map.
the case.
Yeah,
Let's
something's
check.
not adding up here as Eki goes down another time. I can tell you what adds up, 12 deaths
Wicked
on this
sick.
Bat Rider. I mean, it might be his best hero, but it's definitely not one of his best performances so far.
Even this gate by Copy, like, I don't really like it as well.
Yeah, like what's he doing here?
Like, why is he going top towards the top side of the map when Dark Lord is already here? Somebody needs to be at bottom to shove the bottom wave. They're just afraid, you know, because the bat died at bottom and then they just immediately vacate the area.
Okay.
So these are small little details that might
Bounty.
seem like it's so small. Why are
Bounty
we
powered
talking
by
about it, but it actually
Alliance.
matters so much? Because if he
Bukan,
stayed bot,
Alliance,
look at the
Alliance.
state of the map right now. The bot
Kok kayak
wave would have
gini
been
grafik gue
pushed
taruh
out.
mana dong kamera gue
Bottom
taruh
wave all
sini.
pushed out, and all they need to do right now is send a
Taruh
hero
sini
mid
lah
to
paling
cut
aman
the
lah.
wave,
Dah.
and Falcons
Nah,
cannot
tapi
push.
ada
Yeah, because
replay.
the bot wave is coming in, so
Jir,
it's impossible.
serba
You
susah.
have to defend right
Oi.
now.
Udah sini
You
aja.
don't have a choice. So a small little move like this can impact the game immensely.
It's all about setting the map up on this high ground. Lasso
Timing.
out. They weren't ready to save.
Lasso,
SF is in trouble,
SF,
looking for
mana
some
BKB-nya,
sort of
Wo?
pushback. Not
Yes,
forced
Aegis.
out.
Wah,
Doesn't
second
engage
shotnya
in the
bagus
first
sih.
fight,
Oh,
not even
good
taken
save.
down. Heard of
Good
Duma,
save,
it's
Tombstone.
Automa as Ike will be the first casualty. Boxes all the
Buyback.
defensive utility that you got on Falcons to
Requiem.
try and scare
Skitrnya
away
mati,
Rune
Aegis
Eaters,
pecah.
and it
Malik
will be
mati.
enough. The whip down
Nggak ada
onto the
buyback
Druid
tuh
doesn't stand a
Maliknya.
chance as Copy's trying to clean up, but he just doesn't have the damage on the park.
Nggak punya,
Silence
pakai nggak punya
up now,
damage
still
coy.
in some trouble. Don't
Malrinya
lose the
mati.
gem, but Malrine will be the first one to fall on Falcons. Trying to back up. Lotus ult, reflecting that shackle shot. Not
shot.
able to latch as Skeeter still the big bad on the front lines.
Gila.
That got a bit hairy there. Rune Eaters, you know, they threw quite a bit towards the Falcons
Masih
lineup.
bisa gitu,
Caught
coy.
them off guard while they were backing up trying to smoke. I mean, that went about
2-1.
as well as it could have. It cost them a buyback on the
Sorry,
top
2-1,
floor.
buyback 1.
I mean, you see the power of the team fight. The Tombstone, the Magnetize, just absolutely destroying the Rune Eaters side. I mean, this is the
Tapi bagus
issue
sih itu
with
apa?
if you
Time
can't
the
contest the
beast-nya.
rush and your Doom
Rick
lineup,
bagus, coy.
you always play into an Aegis.
Yeah.
So you always have this problem where the Doom doesn't really get as much value. But this is still a start. It's, I mean, it's a
Really,
way
gimana
for them to
kelarinnya?
come back in the game. Falcon's gonna pick up the next
Setuju tidak?
Tormentor, so Maureen's gonna get his shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, you saw if Bat Rider can isolate the SF, he can pull him towards his team.
Yeah.
It is going to be a fight that it is possible
Oi.
for Rune Eaters.
Oi,
to win.
seseorang, thank you,
Falcon's gonna be
10.000-nya ya.
Very, very careful.
Thank you, by the way.
To build Lotus,
Semoga rezekinya
trying to get
dibalas
the
lipat
Lincolns. They
ganda.
need some sort of
Allah
defense
SWT.
against this Blink
Amin, amin.
Castle
Thank you,
for
seseorang.
Bat Rider.
I will say, Winter, that obviously from that engagement, Rune
Okay,
Eaters do not lack the
Ada
damage.
nyawer, Cok.
But I'd love
Alhamdulillah.
to see someone address the supports.
Oh, gua nggak
I
masang
believe
PR
that's
ya?
supposed to be Copy's job because so far in these fights, I'm just seeing soul rip after soul rip, box after box.
Alright.
The supports on Falcons are just having a
Atas
completely
29.
free time spell casting on the backlines, and no one's really stopping them.
Sebenarnya late game-nya ini
They can't.
Falcon
they can't
sudah
stop
bisa
him
naik ke high
because
ground.
there's so much,
Cuma yang jadi
gun
masalah
kills.
adalah
The Tombstone, the Earth
buat
Spirit,
Falcons
the ring
itu
is just,
adalah
he's too far back, you know, you cannot really
gimana
touch it.
caranya
He's so protected. He's just puppeteering
nangkep
the whole thing
paknya
from the
duluan sih.
backlines.
Kalau support-support yang lain masih oke lah, masih ada counternya kayak Yul di remaster buat ngincer Bat Rider gitu kan, atau Kara Clockwork. Tapi kayak gimana lu menangkap paknya? Paknya udah punya Ion Disc. Dia masih bisa cabut even kalau misalnya lu nyerang dia gitu. Tapi di sisi lain juga Rune Eaters damage untuk apa namanya?
I mean, after
Nge-counternya juga nggak begitu bagus gitu loh.
Yeah, Dark Carnival, baby.
Nggak begitu besar damage-nya.
Maybe
Lu lihat
that's the
Dark
strat,
Lord.
you know, Falcons
Dark Lord
are
cuma punya Crystallis
looking at the Dark
buat
Carnival
critical
and
damage-nya.
maybe
Di
this is
sisi
a
lain
sign.
Kopi udah dapetin crit.
This is a
Oh
sign.
nice.
We are gonna
well,
get Another TI win.
I mean, we were just gassing up crit and he dies. So classic caster's curse from both of us there. That's our specialty.
Gimana cara
Doesn't
naik ke
really
high groundnya
change
coba?
the complexion of the game that much though. Falcons still in excellent position. But
Karena
maybe
attack speed sama damage dari skitter.
So we'll just settle for a tier 2 tower here.
Terus kayak mungkin mereka harus naik ke high ground pakai
Rune
Aegis
Eaters, very
lagi.
much positioned on the opposite end.
Gitu.
Can't take that tier 2 tower though. TP's coming through.
Oh, masuk.
Ball is there. Blade mail damage is good.
Waduh, hookshotnya nggak kena loh.
I mean, I feel like this is
Berantakan gameplaynya, berantakan, gila. Rune Eaters, jelek banget gameplaynya.
Not good at all.
That was
Jelek banget, berantakan banget eksekusinya.
Hit the tower. I mean, they saw the SF that he killed the tower and he went missing. You know, you don't really have as much time. I think he just felt like maybe he had an extra 1 or 2 seconds, but focus firing the tower there, that was such a risky move.
Aduh.
I mean, I almost felt like Dark Lord expected Eki and Aim to be
ketahuan woi.
allowing him to get that jump
Ayo
and
dis.
pop out.
Hap.
Oh, just off the mark with the roll.
Kena silence, ada flame break, ada force staff untung. Untungnya dari siapa? Bad Rider masih standby di situ.
For free. They didn't have to use anything for that winter.
They can't really help him. It's just basically the A on this.
Yeah.
Tapi Ion Disnya tuh makin lama cooldownnya coy. Terus kali pakai terus kayak cooldownnya jadi 20 detik lebih lama. 20 atau 30 detik ya gue lupa. Tapi Ura dia mau ke arah Octarin, Malrin dia mau ke arah Shifas Guard, dia udah beli Chasm Stone dan dia tinggal beli recipe-nya aja dan tinggal di delive. Untuk Malrin supaya dia bisa rolling boulder pakai Shifas Guard, abis itu langsung apa namanya magnetize gitu kan.
That's such a tricky. I mean, the conditions for Rune Eaters to take these fights just continues to get harder. Winter.
I mean, they are 12k behind right now.
They are 12k behind. But there are some games where 12k behind, it doesn't even feel that bad. This game 12k behind, ooh, I don't know. It's so bloody uncomfortable. I mean, the net worth is also just
nggak begitu jelek sih sebenarnya. Kalau lo lihat tuh si siapa Wind Ranger sama Paknya masih bisa scaling.
I always talk about
Doomnya cuma hilang beda 3000 sama Axe.
And he doesn't have team fight.
Dan kayak duo supportnya juga nggak begitu jauh gitu loh. Jadi kayak masih bisa ngimbangin actually Rune Eaters ini. Harus ada blunder sebenarnya dari Falcons kalau mau apa namanya mau kena comeback ya.
If you just hook in or you just blink him with a bat, you are not really guaranteed of exiting the team fight or winning the team fight.
I'm just trying to figure out whether it's like if they wanted to pick this Clockwork and Bat Rider, then maybe they should have picked something other than the park or maybe something other than the Doom.
I think they were just kind of just picking heroes that they were good at. You know, they weren't really putting too much thought into it.
Into like how it comes together.
Yeah, they just saw the lane match. Oh, Bat is really good against Undying. You know, so they just wanted to do that. If you can't play the lane,
lagi nih ceritanya weh.
So they were just thinking about the lane.
Kayaknya ini bakal fokus ngambil item tier 4. Kalau lihat Doom juga udah ngambil tier 4.
Like that, the lane doesn't go the way you plan.
Psychic Headband di
what's the rest of it?
Siapa? Di
but if you can't play the lane, then there's no point talking about the rest. So the lane has to be playable first.
Oh ya Allah,
usually you talk about tier 1.5 teams, tier 2 teams. They're not very good at playing the game if you're starting off at a disadvantage. The better teams maybe
Players Catalyst,
they will find a way.
That's why they're tier 1 teams.
Even if they fall
Players
behind,
Dota di siapa di Dark Lord.
They know what to do to come back in the
Ranger,
game.
carry.
Just slowly but surely drag out the game and get to a point where they could actually have opportunities to fight back.
Now Falcons are specialists in that regard, but they got nothing to bounce back from this game. They are very much heads and shoulders ahead of Rune Eaters in this first part.
Gimana ini next cycle
So you know, even if you lose this one, you might still have a chance to draw. But
this is going to be the last stand here. They need to stop Falcons from getting the Roche, but they make the Roche raw, and it seems like they're going to try to find a way to take a fight. They don't want to give Rune Eaters a free fight with the last one.
Rune Eaters have no idea this is happening. A bit split on the map right now. Someone showing outside the pit. Pit's empty.
Nggak ada.
Rune Eaters have an idea.
Dapat ring masternya, lumayan. Dapat satu. Malrin kena Doom. Doomnya mana? Doomnya kebuka. Ada Tombstone. Clockwork. Nice. Maliknya. Oh, Maliknya masih survive coy. SF-nya mati. Oh my god. Ini comeback kah? Or Spirit. Wah, double kill. Oh my god. Comeback coy. Wah.
Snake King's trying his best to protect him on that really tanky and dying, but they can just ignore
dieback dong, dieback ringmasternya. Ya ampun, beneran di comeback coy sama ini Rune Eaters.
Not a lot of damage to work with. It's really Copy doing the heavy lifting, jumping on forward will smack down that support. Copy with a double
comeback.
kill.
Nge-troll coy Falcons.
The best case scenario you could ask for if you're a Rune Eaters fan. The fact that they were able to get in, take down crit immediately, force that buyback.
Sumpah, kok bisa? Kok bisa?
I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, how did they actually?
Kok bisa dapat segitu?
I think maybe the axe was he missed his call. He couldn't protect a Skitter in the fight. We couldn't really see what actually went down there, but props to Rune Eaters of finding an opening, forcing a buyback, and then killing crit again. So that was a huge victory for the Rune Eaters side. They stopped the rush, they killed heroes, and now they buy themselves time.
Woi, double overlay-nya bang, overlay-nya double bang.
Completely on Malrine being run at, right? Because he got doomed. It looked like Falcons were trying to do everything that they could to get him out, but then maybe in that process they left Skeeter behind, and that's a big deal. But without the Doom, without the Wind Ranger for a little bit, Falcons were thinking of starting back up that Roche. We'll see a replay of that fight.
Ini bagus sih. Tombstone-nya masuk ya kan.
Where's Shadowfiend? Looks like he's showing himself. Okay, I see the picture. So Ike lands a really nice hook shot.
Shadowfiend-nya kejepit coy. Karena Shadowfiend-nya kejepit jadi kayak nggak bisa requiem gitu loh. Dia nggak bisa nge-counter pakai requiem. So what can you do? You cannot do anything actually.
The fight was awkward. He was sticking out to the sidelines, not really wanting to commit. In the end, he does get that blink call onto the Wind Ranger that finishes her off. But Amar was very much kept out of this fight by proxy of his blink being cancelled.
Wah, bagus banget sih.
If the axe is not getting a jump on the Wind and the Wind gets focus fire on SF, then SF is going to die.
Yeah.
Itu kalau teamfight tadi menghasilkan kemenangan buat Rune Eaters sih.
He needs to make sure that he
worth
plays around the team fight within reach of the axe saving him. They need to be able to protect him because the crit was dead at that point. He needed to use buyback to
bakal di
rejoin the fight, so
contest
he couldn't really
sama
protect him there.
Yeah. And he buys back, he starts to walk over from the outpost.
Di flaming, kena Lotus coy. Kebuka Lotusnya, Waning Rift masuk, ada Glimmer. Flame break
to commit the Doom, especially with the rest of Falcons just looming scarily around him. So that's Lasso basically used for nothing.
And they also forced the flash column.
Yeah.
Wind Ranger-nya sih.
The Clockwork still very risky rush to
Wind Ranger-nya sih. Oh, kena stun. Kena stun.
He's dropping low.
I need to block the hook shot.
You want to make a play, you need to get
Oh no, Skitter dapat dong. Boleh fight.
Not one in sight at
Oh
least.
my god, hook shot.
Might go down, but Dark Lord having to create this distance. Popping the
Oh my god. I think it's gonna be Rune Eaters if they are not blunder. Satanic. Ada Doom. Oh nice. Nice Doom. Oh, Copy udah.
Take him down and first life of SF goes down. Copy is starting to solve the problem. This puck just cannot be controlled. Dancing around the fight, taking
gila Copy udah made it.
But still, that means Copy's got more room to play.
Double buyback.
Right on top of Skeeter with Dark Lord on the
Nullifier, nice banget. Gila, Rune Eaters. Rune Eaters.
Ready to rumble.
Arcane Rune.
Amar is the same though. Arcane Rune.
Wow.
TP out. They're not gonna see him, and he'll escape.
Wow. Rune Eaters are doing it.
Very nice contest. I just feel like they're
Rune
getting
Eaters.
all these very nice jumps. And
4 tuker 2 buyback. Gila, Rune Eaters.
Make sure that they
wow.
the fight first. But they made
back to back team fightnya menang coy. Terus kayak net worth-nya langsung swing dari 12.000 ke 2.000. The net worth very swing, tapi like swing from 12 to 2K. Look at this. Doomnya bagus banget. Di Gaby buka Doom ke Spirit, yang darah tinggal dikit udah pasti mati ya kan, walaupun harus buyback. Nullifier ke arah Undying.
He just keeps dancing in and out and doing so much damage to everyone on Falcons.
Yeah, they have no answer to the puck, no way to catch him.
Yeah.
Pak Ion Beast coy. Lu mau ngincer kayak gimana coy? Lu mau ngincer kayak gimana paknya pakai Ion Beast coy? What can you do?
Very much reached that point. We see as well
What can
Malik
you do,
in certain
coy?
cases when he's jumping in with those tendrils of the deep, knocking up everyone in his BKB. He's way too tanky for them to deal
What's
with.
the answer of
Ion
Beast on puck gitu loh? Apa jawaban yang harus lo kasih dengan puck Ion Beast?
All the puck damage, the shackle shots,
udah Parasma lagi.
coming out from the cogs,
Parasma coy.
all that stuff, all the gunk on the ground. Falcons might have it, but Rune Eaters do too.
Gila.
Yeah, they have the better way of finding the initiations right now, whereas for Falcons, they need the Axe to land a very big call. He needs
thank
to
you
be
the
able to
subs.
call the
Thanks for the
Windrunner. I
subs.
think the Windrunner is a very,
Queenie.
very big target.
Queenie, hello.
Kind of very difficult for them to
Hello.
kill because of the.
I think you can hear me, bro. I think it's gonna be.
To deal with that right now.
It's gonna be Rune Eaters,
I think
bro.
obviously the target will
Sorry,
be
I
Doom.
cannot
He
speak
needs
English
to
here because
focus down first.
this is for local language. Oh, Doomnya Dumaganim. Ringmaster mati for sure.
Ringmaster with no buyback, and the rest of Falcons just have to flee.
Just a support kill, but it's a dieback.
Waduh.
So it's a
Suara gua aman kan?
for Crit.
Tes suara gua aman kan?
Dieback the previous fight already. This
Oh,
might
so
just be
this-
the normal respawn time at this point. Because earlier on, I was like, this is catastrophic because Falcons, they lost the fight, Crit bought back, and he died again. I mean, Rune, they're identifying the right targets here.
Aman ya. Oke, Trabas, welcome. Ngechat dong makanya biar gua tahu siapa yang lagi nonton kok.
Yeah,
Lo ya.
we saw him yesterday. He's
kacau,
the
leh.
master of the defensive hook shots.
Not what you
The Falcons
expected.
are trying to look for something here. They know there's no Doom. Even 4v5, they're trying to make a play.
We've seen them succeed in this before, but they just got to be careful because they're lacking some defensive utility. Nice little
he doesn't get
break
that
there.
call.
Dark Lord not getting caught by the call. And this Clockwork will TP out. That was an excellent play from the Pulse 5 of Rune Eaters.
And Falcons are feeling the heat. Rune Eaters completely
Rune
turned the
Eaters.
game
Wah,
around.
kena
Copy with
nullifier.
his puck.
I mean, Copy is just playing with them, forcing the
Coil.
TPs back. Oh,
Masuk.
you gonna come back to base all the way to deal with little old me?
Gila.
Well, looks like your hand's gonna be empty for it. Still trying for the
late
chase
game.
though. I mean, Falcons, they're
Kayak
frothing
gue bilang
at the
tadi,
mouth.
Pak
They really
itu
want
late
this
game-nya
puck,
lebih bagus
but it's
daripada
so
Our Spirit.
difficult to deal with because of that Aeon disc, like you said, Winter.
Yeah, this game has.
Pertanyaan
completely
berikutnya
swung
adalah
over.
gimana apakah
If
bisa
Falcons,
gitu kan.
They can't close out this game with SF. I feel like they're probably not going to pick SF anymore. As I suspected, it's not a hero that they're super comfortable with, and this is not a hero that I expected Skeeter to be comfortable
Bentar.
playing.
Gua
And it's
sambil
kind
ini,
of
guys.
showing.
But how did it get to this point? Because I was so sure at some moments it felt like Falcons were just moments away from ending the game. They had a
Yeah.
chokehold on the
They made
situation.
bad decisions in the team fight. Positioning of the SF got killed off.
Right.
I think it all started with the bot rush, you know. The SF got killed by the win with the focus fire. I think he was never supposed to be put in that position itself.
Yeah.
And the game kind of started to turn around from that point on. And right now, Copy with his puck is just unkillable, I want to say.
Yeah, Rune
No
Eaters.
Aeon this means you can't kill him.
I mean, these boys in white might be the first game of the day merchants here because they were able to take the first game yesterday against Extreme Gaming. Shocked us all, and they might just have turned it around versus Falcons here against all expectations. And it's all thanks to some nice team fighting, right? Again, you just see the grit and the determination from these boys. They're always looking for opportunities to strike. And maybe that's why they like these heroes like the Bat and the Clockwork so much. In an
Mana cara
instant,
comeback?
everything can be turned around.
Ini kalau
Nice
misalnya-
ISO, hook shot, focus fire.
Misalnya tim fight-nya menang Rune Eaters sekali lagi sih selesai sih.
Might just get
Menurut
flapped
gue.
out of this game. There's a Skeeter who's
Ini tinggal
big and
nunggu
bad, but now
si
Copy, he's the real carry
Ini
coming in.
blunder aja coy. Wah itu dia.
Ringmaster
Flaming
found right
lasso
in the
ya
depths
ke
of his
Ringmaster.
base.
Ringmaster ada
Will get
buyback
dropped.
tapi. Distiller
This time
kebuka
round he has
coy.
buyback, but we're seeing a small
Distiller
detail
udah
that
buka
has been
posisi dari
plaguing
ups.
Amal this whole time. Every time Ike spots him in the team
Andain.
fight, throws down an Essence Distiller and cancels out that blink. It's really hard for Amar to actually get in there and find the calls.
Like, he has to hide. Like,
how they
somehow
can win
use
over
a
these
smoke
boys.
to have a smoke. Like, if he's not smoking.
Wih, yang
it's
nonton
kinda
73
difficult for him
guys,
to find
welcome
the
to the stream
lane.
guys.
Yeah, he's gonna get cancelled every single time.
Welcome to the stream. Don't forget to like the stream ya.
Now Gem on the Bat Rider controlling the outskirts of the Falcons map. Now it's
Eaters.
Falcons on the back foot. The ones being cornered into their own base. A taste of their own medicine here.
Yeah, again, he buys the Crozet, you know, on the Doom. And yesterday I saw
Snaking.
Malik did it, and he does it again. I guess he just feels like it's really good on this hero. You're chasing and you're running heroes down.
Yeah.
how they gonna win?
I guess he's buying it because he's
Battle Hunger kebuka. Lah nggak jadi buka. Loh.
Yeah, it's not a very yeah, I can see why.
Bit of an awkward goal.
Gua kira jadi.
Somehow bumps himself out of the
Buka
course.
vision, kebuka 2. Flaming. Flaming again. Let's go. Let's go.
A Doom finding both. Amar will get pulled out. That's the same
Runitas.
coming into
Gila.
This is rough. Sees the Sturge will bring snaking back into the game.
Bisa gitu coy. Kena silent. Lah kok nggak jadi requiem?
Be careful though. The rest of Falcons ready to pounce, but this is still great news for Rune, especially if they don't.
Udah ganim dong Batrider-nya. Magnetize. Hookshot nggak kena coy. Oh no, jetpack.
Just dodging to the south was his allies. I think he tried to hookshot over to either Darklord or Eki, but they were pathing down south. That's tough.
Bisa gitu coy.
That's actually a really nice exit from Rune. They only lose the position 5 hero.
Yeah.
They don't lose anything.
Tapi hilangnya cuma hilang pos 5 doang sih. Tapi lumayan coy, kayak udah ngasih warning ke siapa? Ke Falcons kalau ini ada Aganim coy, Batrider-nya coy, hati-hati coy gitu kan.
He is just leaving a trail of fire for them to chase on him.
Oh no, Batrider.
That's awkward.
Waduh, Aganim, Malrin, Rolling Boulder, BKB.
They keep him in place with the shackles and Eki will get himself out. But you've used the BKB of Dark and now he's gonna get caught.
Ada buyback gak? Oh ada, Wind Ranger ada buyback. Wind Ranger mati. Oke, langsung buyback harusnya. Double buyback harusnya bisa. Flaming mana Flaming. Flaming lasso please, sumpah Batrider-nya.
This whole sequence where they were able to find a nice pick off on Falcons.
Wah, kalau bagus lagi. Dapat dong clockwork-nya. Winning grip. Hookshot. Aduh, mati dieback coy. Aduh. Aduh, mati coy.
They were doing so well for themselves, but just a small slip up there. Eki death into
kepleset
another
dikit
death into
coy.
Yeah, they just
Bisa.
didn't really back off on time at the top lane.
Aduh.
They turn around, they try to help.
Aduh, nanggung gitu si Wind Ranger juga ragu-ragu mau buyback, kagak ada clockwork gitu kan. Flaming, buyback. Nice, Shadowfinnya bakal mati, ada Doom. Oh, good save. Ringmaster. Nice, SF-nya mati. Oh, Wind Ranger. Oh no, Wheel of Wonders. Untung ada Yondis, Magnetize. Buyback dong kalau kayak gitu coy. Baliklah Wind Ranger ya, sumpah tolong. Wah, ya ampun. Buyback coy, GG dong. GG dong. Aduh.
Malrine will wreck them all. Nice buybacks there from Falcons coming to the outpost that they had captured and turning the fight around. Now Rune Eaters, it was still a little bit shaky up to this point whether they'd be able to pull it back, but now firmly out of their control again.
Ya ampun, blunder coy, Rune Eaters.
Yeah, I'm afraid this is going to be it. They put up a good fight, but they just didn't really clutch it on
Aduh, buyback oke, pakai.
Buyback, but
dagger dong, pas banget. Ya ampun, GG dong. 3 seconds. Clockwork ya. Boom, nice. Aksnya mati. Ditendang 2 kali masih bisa survive. Ya. Oh, what to save. Oh my god. Oke. Buyback aksnya. Oh, nice call. Clocknya ketangkep lagi, 4 hit dong, mati coy, udah GG. Nggak bisa coy. Ron coy. Ada gem sih. Ada, oh no, she passed guard. Wah, pak GG. That's off. Gila. GG. 1-0 teman-teman. Oh my god.
It just wasn't enough. Falcons will be able to topple them here in this game number 1. It wasn't the cleanest. It got a little bit shaky, especially near that end game, but still. That just goes to show Rune Eaters are not going to be an easy opponent to beat. But Falcons, they show us why they're one of the top teams. Always able to find the opportunity back into the game.
Aduh.
And find the clutch moments in the fight. Stay together till
the end.
Yeah, and they were able to use their buybacks as well. Very good of understanding about how to deal with this Doom hero. You need to use buybacks. You need to be able to buy back reinforce, fight at positions where you can use TPs.
Almost.
Like the outpost, for example. They fought at the outpost, they used their buybacks.
Game pertama ya.
Turn the game around, turn the fight
dari
around.
Falcons.
Like Eki and the clockwork, they were able to find good
almost is never enough, teman-teman.
Buybacks, just turn everything around, and I feel like for Rune Eater's side, they just didn't really do a good enough job in understanding. Okay, they're gonna be able to run into a position.
Harusnya bisa Rune Eaters itu. Kalau clockworknya sabar dikit lagi tuh.
Clean up the fights, and they're paying a price because of that, So they need to get better at understanding when we get a kill. We need to understand that they could buy back, and we have to be happy with the kill we get. And this is something that's very difficult to learn.
Absolutely. But I will say that I think within yesterday to today, I like what we see from Rune Eater so far, right?
Gimana guys menurut kalian guys? Game pertama guys, what do you think about the game one?
We see so many of these teams, once they reach a point where they're behind, they start to run out of options of what to do. But it feels like Rune Eaters always find a place. Specifically for me, I think one thing that really stood out was something you called out as well. They had a moment right before the Tormentor spawn where they actually went for a smoke. Right, you kind of expect, okay, they have an Aegis, we shouldn't be able to fight this, but that surprise timing caught Falcons off guard because they're also on that same wavelength. You can't do anything, and you're not gonna do anything. But that's what catches them off guard. So Rune Eaters, if they can keep hitting these surprise curveballs, maybe they can actually topple Falcons.
I mean, it's also the fact that you saw how vulnerable Falcons is with this hero SF. I think Skitter is really not very comfortable with this hero. You can see a couple of times where he was very, very unsure of what he needed to do in the team fights. He's just doing his usual thing. Skitter always comes to the room fights, he helps his team. But then with SF, you kind of have to make a better way of deciding what is more important. Is it important for you to help your team, or is it important for you to?
Cuma gue mau lihat result di match line bentar. Gue mau lihat result
a little bit more priority on your own game because you're a Shadow Fiend. But whereas when you see Skitter play a hero like this,
Gamer Legion Extreme masih main. Nge-comeback dong. Gamer Legionnya. Comeback lebih tepat ya.
Feel the presence of the hero in the game like the SF5.
Pur Rangers BB.
The game should have been
gila. Pur Rangers juga lagi leading dibalikin lagi coy. Ini game of comeback kah ini hari ini?
Amar could have dagger, so that he couldn't be protected. And I think that fight kind of showed that he is not comfortable with the hero, because if you play the hero a lot, you see your ring dying, you know that he's your main save.
Yeah, you can't go anymore.
You can't go in.
You gotta get there.
You gotta book out and wait, because they clearly knew that he had buyback, because they were still trying to fight, but they needed to take things slow. He kind of didn't really get the memo because he is not comfortable with his hero. I'm sure if he's playing a Weaver or he's playing anything that he's super comfortable with,
he knows when to go in and out.
He will know when to go in and out.
Exactly.
But it was very, very obvious that he wasn't comfortable with the SF.
Yeah, I mean, the SF, regardless of whether it was comfortable or not, it was definitely a problem in that game. On the flip side, again, feel like I didn't feel the presence of Dark Lord. I'm gonna be real with you. That's of course the differential between the carries. Even
he couldn't gank,
It was really hard for him. It was really hard for him.
He couldn't leave. Like his job was to get gank. His job was to go to the runes to use power shot to get some kills, but he just couldn't really leave the lane. I think the ring and the axe lane duo was very, very strong. They put a lot of pressure onto him. He was constantly low, so he couldn't move. I think that was the key piece of the puzzle missing from the early game from Rune Eaters, but they still held on. They found good initiations eventually with the dagger from the Bat Rider, but there were also points of the map where I felt like they were not playing the map correctly. They needed to be better at pushing the map. Who's supposed to be shopping this wave? This is dangerous wave. The puck needs to be there. Or this wave, you send the Bat Rider there. So these are things that I think did give them a huge problem, because they couldn't find pickoffs with the clock and the bat, because the lanes and the doom, because the lanes were not pushed out. And Falcons, they were finding the kills when they only had the X dagger. They had one dagger here, but they were the ones finding the kills in the early stages, which I felt that was a signal that the lanes were not fixed.
Kayaknya
Rune Eaters, they can find a way to fix the lanes. They can find a way to identify how to solve this problem, and they can come up with a similar draft that plays to their strength. I think they will be able to have a very good chance of winning.
That's all it is. You guys better be taking notes if you're the coach of Rune Eaters. That's all you need to take game number 2, which we'll have for you after a short break, so don't go anywhere.
Let's go. Oke, kita break dulu guys. Kita break dulu. Paris. I wish I was. Aku berharap gue di sana sih sebenarnya. What can you do ya? Sambil kita main HOK, bentar guys. HOK. Kenapa benernya sini Brazil ya? Ding ding ding. Ding ding ding. Siapa yang mau mabar nanti malam? Apa mahal? Nanti malam. Achiever Lianpo. Akulah Achiever Lianpo yang dimaksud. Vacuum flask. Obtain treasure. Ya Allah, treasure gini amat. Bom bom bom. Lah langsung dapat matchnya. Bom bom bom.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower.
Gue mau ngundang siapa ya nanti? EWC
Now
EWC ya.
imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by play.
Guys. Tes. Suara masih aman kan? Aman. Suara masih aman. Oke. Tadi tuh gue mau ngapain ya? Gue mau ngapain? Oh ini aman ya. Gila Jilok Cinong, thank you loh masih standby di sini. Sambil buka ini apa? Stream. Buka email bentar guys. Aduh, gua nge-stream opening gak ya? Nggak usah lah ya. Apa perlu? Tedet. Kalau gue ini weekday no. Ash. Aziz. Oh. Apa tuh namanya? Game kedua guys. Iya, main cok, lupa gue. Kok gue diem dari tadi ya, anjay. Astagfirullahaladzim. Gua AFK main AOK, tapi dapat assist 2. Coy, maafkan aku. Terlalu sibuk ngurus ini. Maaf ya. Semoga tidak kena punish. Itu dia, no heal bro. Balik bro. Gila, di ulti nggak? Oh no, aku back. Atas. Cifer Lianko nih bos. Ulti. Nah, aduh. That's unfortunate. Lalu kita masuk game kedua guys. Hap. Wah, kok nggak dibantu coy, mohon bantuannya. Yoroshiko nagaisimasu. Aduh, mati coy. Aduh. Tunggu mulai. Sama lagi nih. Goldnya. Ayo bang, fight bang. Fight, nah, iya gitu. Dah di ulti gue. Masa di ulti gue ya. Let's go. Mulai guys. Game 2. EWC, let's go EWC, game 2 teman-teman.
We're back at EWC 2026 Dota 2 here with Permasneeze and Winter taking you through the action. We are on Stream C, which is where we like to, you know, I think we call it the stream of dreams because a lot of the time... Stream of chill.
Yes, chill here.
There was nothing chill about that first game, Winter, between Falcons and
There's
Rune
nothing
Eaters. It was a hard-fought
chill.
affair. For those of you looking at the score saying, oh, you know, of course Falcons beat this team. It's Falcons. It's, you know, Rune Eaters. They only qualified through EU regionals. Who cares? Well, you'd be mistaken. You missed out, okay? Because it was a close deal. I feel like Rune Eaters, they very much had the game in their control a few of the moments. In fact, I would say half of the time it felt like it was a 50-50, right? There were moments where, of course, Skeeter's Shadow Fiend looked unstoppable, but there were also moments where it felt like, hey, wait a minute, Malik with this Krellas Crozier Doom running in, mashing out on everybody, the double lassos from Eki, you know, the catch was starting to come into play, but they just couldn't quite close it out on Rune Eaters. They just didn't clutch it out.
Guys,
it definitely wasn't the itemization or anything individual play.
Gimana caranya?
Aspect of Rune Eaters, they were not really, I think, as crisp as the more experienced teams on who is supposed to be doing what on the game. Like, who is supposed to be pushing which lane. Okay, somebody died here and who's going to replace... there's a moment where Eki died on the bottom lane and...
the lane was just pushing.
Yeah, the lane was pushing in and Copy just left. He was supposed to just stay and wait because Dark Lord was pushing the top side. So he's already taking care of the top side. Why is the Puck leaving the bot area and going to the top area? You do not want to have,
kedua, teman-teman.
in most cases, two
draft
in the same area.
You're double dipping. You're holding hands while farming. That's not good. That's
you can hold hand with the support players like us, but you cannot hold hands.
Our hands are here for you to hold. We're here to save you. But even if they jumped Dark Lord's Wind Ranger, Copy probably would just also run, right? So it's like...
mati dua.
I just felt like they just didn't really distribute their heroes. They didn't really understand how to distribute their heroes on the map. Who's supposed to be pushing
you guys?
That's why they couldn't really find a lot of opportunities with the Bat and the Clockwork and even the Doom to get pickoffs on the map. They got a few, but it wasn't enough. And I think even the pickoffs they got, you could say that, Falcons messed up here and there. There were mistakes to be talked about. And in the team fights, it's also, I think, more on Falcons side that they gave away their positioning that allowed the Bat to get the crucial lassos of the Dooms, onto the Earth Spirit. And I felt like this game is a very, very good show.
Absen guys yang masih nonton guys, absen. Ayo guys, absen.
Game kedua, they can't really play a lot of the top tier heroes. For example, SF. Like this game clearly showed that they were vulnerable. They couldn't really close out the game with SF. Most teams, they pick SF. They were very, very comfortable. If you have an SF player, most carry players can play SF, and you can close out the game fairly comfortable, in a very comfortable manner after the laning phase. Because you win your lane, you go to your team, you hit the other towers, you get Tormentor, you get Roshan. Everything was perfect. They got the Rosh for 16, 17 minutes. They got the Tormentor. But during the team fights, I think it was very evident that Skeeter doesn't really understand how to play SF. And it showed. He got caught, and it gave Rune Eaters a chance, to come back into the game. And props to them to understand. And maybe they saw this as well. They felt like Falcons, they're not a really good SF team, so why not just let them have it? And we try to beat it.
Specifically for Rune Eaters.
Yes,
I get what you're saying about Skeeter not looking necessarily comfortable on the Shadow Fiend, which they've gone back again for.
That's why they're giving them the Shadow Fiend again.
I will say, I think Rune Eaters concocted a much better solution than I expected, because when I saw the heroes in the draft, I didn't see how the picture came together, but now that it's been played out, it's exactly what you said. They have so many ways of actually spotting out the whole team, right? It's very hard to protect the SF when they can see where all your bodyguards are and play around it.
But the thing is, I felt like they actually could protect him. It was just an execution problem where they just made mistakes,
So do you think that Rune Eaters, because they've already shown us what they think the solution to SF is, do you think that what they drafted in the previous game can actually work, or do you think it only worked because Falcons messed up? So meaning that they don't have a good SF answer.
A bit of both. I can see the answer. I think I mentioned this yesterday to you.
Oh no, the ulti.
SF is you need to reposition him either with Punch, right? We saw Punch.
Maybe bench swap is what you were thinking.
Yeah, I was suggesting bench swap. Magnus, if he didn't get nerfed, I'm sure people will be picking Magnus, because now Skewer is not exactly a spell anymore.
It's a bit of a weird one. You can blame Collapse for that one.
Why is Skewer being interrupted right now?
Shut down. Ace.
Very fair, man.
It's okay. It's actually fine. I don't mind not being skewered. I don't mind not playing against Magnus, I'll be real.
Ayo, satu sama nggak guys? Satu sama sih kan menurut gua sih.
He is, but also whenever he's in the meta, people pick him in pubs, and you know how that goes.
It's a double repositioning right now. Earth Spirit, Bat Rider.
They snatched away the Earth Spirit. I think that was a very high value pick for.
You know how that works? Can you lasso someone and then the Earth Spirit kick you and then you both move?
I think so. I think so. Forced movement. Why not?
Let's go game 2 teman-teman.
With the grip.
Let's go game 2, game 2.
Is that a thing?
You could.
Delfinnya di-pick lagi
I
coy
think so.
sama
Falcons.
Falcons.
That bad boy, but one thing I will say is that just with these two heroes alone, the tier 1 neutral item Stone Feather Satchel is gonna have insane value. Because they, you can't move them quite as far. So I wonder, I'll keep an eye out. I wonder whether anyone's gonna take that neutral item.
He needs heroes to stop them from moving him. So maybe like Nyx, some melee hero. Nyx seems like maybe it could be a good solution here. It's very good against Bat, it's very good against ES. So that could be something. You need something to break the combination.
Sure.
Some bodyguard hero.
You don't want the Ringmaster again, or is that too difficult to play into the Earth Spirit?
Sure, you can play the Ringmaster again.
Yeah.
But against Earth Spirit, I would say that it's not that great. I think they pick it mainly for the laning phase, but here they might need to do something else. So they go back for the Undying. Undying SF, very, very, I think, solid and stable during the team fights. So you see they pick double bodyguards right away. Maybe the Undying could be an off lane. It could be a flex for them. So they're already prioritizing the SF. We need to protect the SF in the team fights.
Right.
Against the Bat and the Earth Spirit.
Yeah, very similar drafts here. The only change is that Earth Spirit got swapped for Clockwork. So in the previous draft, Rune Eaters had Clockwork on Bat and their side, and Malrine was playing the mid Earth Spirit along with Snake King's Undying and Skeeter's Shadow Fiend. Now, I will say, I feel like the Earth Spirit was a big component in terms of keeping the SF safe, because you said there was so much gunk in front of the SF they couldn't deal with it. Well, a lot of the gunk did come from Malrine's Earth Spirit, so I'm wondering what else he can pick to mirror that same level of impact.
1, 2, 13.
Because some of the, I mean, of course you got your Storm Spirits, your Embers, your Void Spirits, but none of them really spew out damage in such a big collective
because
dragged out time.
Clock and Undying is low damage hero. You need other heroes to
supplement it, right?
Yeah, to help with the damage department.
Oh, the Mirana. Okay.
Oh, Mirana. Udah lama banget ya keluar
We
Mirana,
did
coy.
not like this pick at all yesterday.
Pause for Mirana.
But then does that mean it's Bat Rider for copy in the mid lane?
It might be a core Bat off lane.
Oh, okay.
They want to kill the SF.
Sure,
Nice,
okay.
triple kill.
You think it might be like what, a Bat
Unstoppable.
Rider Earth Spirit lane, or do you think it's
Nice,
Bat Rider Mirana
quadra
and then
kill.
Earth Spirit in the mid?
I think
Ace.
Mirana and Earth Spirit in the mid.
What is the point on this lane?
I think, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's clear that
idea what's going on.
Oh my god. Okay, well,
Doom.
So it's a pos 5 Mirana.
Pos
think
5 Mirana, Bat Rider
also be
4, Doom
pos
3,
5
midnya
Bat,
Earth Spirit
pos
lagi.
4 Mirana, pos 3 Doom, and then we're last picking a carry.
No, Earth Spirit mid lagi,
I mean,
coy.
it likes
Tapi
playing his
diambil
pos
sama
5
ini
Bat.
sih.
This is a team that really likes their Bat Rider, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it played in any role, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I guess the option here is which support do
Jir,
you want to
MVP
lane the
gue,
Bat
padahal
against?
udah
Do you
sempet
wanna
AFK
lane
gue.
the Bat against the Clock or the Undying? I feel like
they won the Undying,
yeah,
right?
I
They
want
won
to
the
lane
Undying
against the
matchup.
Undying.
I think it's one of those things. Maybe it's one of those things where for Eki, after last game, he messed up like once or twice, maybe in the lane, and he's like, okay, I'm not going to make those mistakes anymore. And he feels like, okay, it's a good matchup. I'm going to pilot it. It's going to be fine this time round. I learned from my mistakes.
Ya Allah, cuma dapat sepatu doang.
I don't really understand the concept around it.
And they're happy. They understand what's going on.
Sure, yeah, having a little cackle. Can't be sad about that.
Yeah, maybe it's a Doom carry this game.
Ooh, maybe it's a Mirana carry. Why not?
Yeah, maybe.
Civerlian Po.
It's going to be a Malrine Ember Spirit. Somebody has to be uncomfortable. So they have two uncomfortable heroes right now. Ember Spirit and Shadow Fiend.
Okay, I will say that over the past few months, Malrine's Ember Spirit is something to be respected. I think
it's improved. Okay, I give you that.
Yeah, it used to be one of those things where he picks Void, picks Ember, you're just
Cara
like,
nyarinya gimana
okay,
ya, power
we're doing
kita
this.
You're like,
Okay. But now you're still kind of like, oh, that's a good Ember Spirit game though. Is it a good Ember Spirit game, Winter?
It is what they need. They lack small little disable, small little catch. Clock, especially Undying SF, you do not have stuns
Hero power.
in 2 heroes. It's only the Clock, Hook Shot, Power Clock, so you need the slight change to help you play the game.
Sure. Whenever
Very
I see...
good. Very good against ES and
Indo
Mirana.
paling
Change the roots and
ini berapa ya Indo?
I think it might be a good Mage Slayer game. Are you going to buy Mage Slayer against their heroes? I feel like
I'd say it's pretty good.
Might be pretty good this game.
Yeah. I was going to talk a bit more about the Mirana pick because after yesterday's games, I was thinking about why Rune Eaters might opt for this. Did a bit of investigating, noticed a pretty interesting talent. So there's obviously the level 15, 20% Moonlight Shadow Evasion. I feel like that sounds like not a lot. But then could it potentially be like... Because I'm looking at every other angle of this hero. It's a decent laner, there's nice arrow follow-up or whatever, but there's nothing else about it that screams to me that it's amazing.
His smoke, the extra smoke you get with Mirana.
Sure, yeah.
Moonlight Shadow.
I mean, I thought Mirana was a pretty solid hero back when she had Salamane's Faithful, where all the Lotuses were like Giga Lotuses, right? They got more effectiveness, and that would be like, if you had a Lotus in the lane, you basically snowball the lane. This new Enchanted Quiver is nice for laning and all, but it just doesn't really quite hit the same.
Let's see what Amar is going to play. Is he going to play the Undying, or is he going to play... I think he's going to play something else.
Yeah, there's no... Amar Undying just feels wrong, man.
Yeah, what is he going to play here?
They ban the Centaur, ban the Dawnbreaker. They also think that Amar's hero will be picked last. I agree with them.
What is ATF going to handle here? They need... I feel like they need another body. They need a frontline hero. I don't know about Dawn, but I feel like Centaur could have been okay. There's no Dawn, so there's maybe Tide. tight SF, still a pretty good lane. Somebody who builds Lotus would be nice. Okay, so
no, Timbersaw builds Lotus.
Timber's like a front line, but I guess with the Ember, so they kind of have some kind of catch to play with. The slight change is going to be very important because the other heroes, they have 3 heroes that have no disable. Timber, Undying, SF. So it's mainly going to be the 4 and the mid. The Clock and the Ember, they have to set up everything, which is
as hard.
Which is always how I think Falcons generally excel, you know.
Sure.
They have this 2-man gang squad, but I don't know if Clock and Ember is like an insane gang squad.
Yeah. I mean, usually with this 2-man gang squad, Skeeter's also playing something that can contribute or get involved with some sort of disable, right? The only thing you really have with the Shadow Fiend is the Requiem in the team fight.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a different complexion from something like, I don't know, like a Sven that can actually jump in, stun, someone like
but at the same time, if you look at their overall composition, I would say like the Timber provides them with what they need. They need more beef to protect the SF. So the draft here is just screaming, protect the SF.
I mean, what's stopping you from literally just ignoring the Timber, especially in the early stage?
Undying Timber. I mean, Timber will kill you if you ignore him. That's the
Ini
problem.
game 2
He's a tank, but he does a lot of damage. There are some tanks that they are just tanks. They don't do a lot of damage. So you can ignore Centaur, like all the time. But Timber is a tank that can kill you as well. That's why this hero is very interesting.
Who's the Doom target this game, you reckon? Has to be the Timber or the Ember, right?
Or the Ember, probably. And now they're gonna have to reveal their overall strat. What are they actually doing? Are they gonna pick a carry for the Timber against the Timber's lane, or are they gonna do something funny here? I am leaning towards Doom Mirana on the off lane. Bat probably the safe lane support, and they're gonna pick another carry here.
Yeah, I think that's the best orientation for me as well. That's Nature's Prophet.
What? Also, it's MP carry.
Pretty interesting. Timber? Yeah, MP carry against Timber. Well,
they want a range hero to hit the tombstone and to be able to fight the SF in the game. But in the laning phase, I'm not sure how good is MP. I know the Treants are very strong right now, but how good is the Treant against the Timbersaw with the reactive armor? That is a question I'm not very sure about. So he has the Bat on his lane, or Mirana on his lane. I don't know how much that changes the matchup in the lane, because nowadays there's a lot of like core-to-core matchups in the lane.
Yeah.
On paper, this core is better than that core, but then you need to also look at what are the supports, because the supports can play a very pivotal role in upsetting the balance.
Then there's also the gates, potentially.
Yeah, the gates. So it's not really that black and white anymore. This hero sucks against that hero, and you're just gonna lose the lane. And Dota is there's a lot more factors right now in the laning phase.
Sure. And with all the nuances considered, Winter, is there a draft that you like more? Because to be honest with you, I see the Nature's Prophet come out last. I'm not really convinced.
Yes.
2-0 sih kayaknya nih.
I do not like Skeeter SF, but I like SF.
2-0.
But he needs to remember SF, self first. That's how he has to play. He can't be putting the others above him. He has to follow the initials. Because
I mean, if you take flights often, you'll know. Always wear your mask before helping others. Put on your own mask first, you know.
Because if you don't help yourself, you're in no shape to help anyone else, especially as a Shadow Fiend, because all you do is damage. You start falling off, you start dying a few too many times, you're going to lose that effectiveness. Even after the early game deaths from Skeeter last game, he still amassed such a big amount of net worth. So you can only imagine how intensely more farmed he would be if he didn't die those times.
Yeah, positioning in the team fight is definitely very important. I think when you talk about range carries, one thing that sets range carries apart from the melee heroes is your positioning. If you cannot understand how to position yourself in the team fights, you won't be able to play this hero very well. Like one of the range carries that I think Skeeter plays well is Wind. But Wind Ranger is different. It's not exactly a range.
Very different.
He's a hero that can go in, so he's like a semi frontline hero. And because you have Wind Run, so positioning might not be as punishing as like a Drow and SF. For Drow, SF, if you are in the wrong position, you just disappear in the team fight. You're gone, you're dead.
That quite literally. We saw that on display in the previous game.
Yeah. So I think positioning is something that you want to look at when you're playing SF. You want to pay a lot of attention. You spoke about self first, but positioning first, you know, is actually very important for SF.
Yeah, this is a little bit of spice in the all chat. Not sure if you guys caught that, but Amar saying free PL game. Probably wondering why Dark Lord didn't go for it. For those of you less familiar, Dark Lord is a PL specialist. That is one of his signature heroes. And I I'm inclined to agree. I feel like this game would have been nice to see a PL, but of course a PL also means that you don't really have a hero in your team for around 20 to 30 minutes. So I can understand why. As we get off to the races here now, you might look at the scoreboard and wonder to yourself, well, this is going to be a fast affair. Falcons will just roll over Rune Eaters, right? Well, not exactly. Rune Eaters are putting up a really good fight in their group stage run so far. And all the pressure's on Falcons, really, if you think about it, because these are the runners-up from last year, fell short to Spirit in the grand finals. Sure, it's still just group stage day 2, and everyone's expecting them to make it to the next stage without any hiccups. But, you know, yesterday, you know, they did drop that game. It's still the opening few days. Falcons still trying to find their form. And even the previous game, there were some mistakes that left us scratching our heads. Hopefully, a bit more solid this time round as after the runes, nothing crazy.
Game 2. Ini udah 1-0 buat Falcons. Iya, 1-0 Falcons.
Maybe abuse the SF, but he catches with a
Tadi
bit really
hampir
quickly.
hampir ke comeback juga.
Yeah, they
Falcons,
sacrificed one of the runes, you know. They were also late coming up here, so maybe it was a last-minute pivot that they wanted to leave the middle section and try this
kameranya
but just a little too late,
ini guys, tapi harganya
one bounty rune.
Anjir.
Pretty expensive at the start of the
Lumayan
game.
juga sih harganya.
Yeah.
Gue kan masih
Does
pakai
it
yang lama.
severely impact any
Ini
of
kamera
the
pertama gue
lane
yang
matchups you
dari
reckon?
zaman
Maybe not
Nih, ini pun
severely,
gue
but it
belinya
definitely
second kan.
impacts the lane. Yeah, especially the side lanes.
Jadi pengen beli deh.
The mid lane maybe not
2
so
juta
much
tapi.
with that extra 40 gold, but the side lanes definitely you can feel the pinch. Because you're sending out extra tangos, extra sows to help play the lane, and not having that is just gonna hurt you in certain matchups.
Ada pos. Mic katanya.
Which particular matchup would you say is the most interesting to watch here? Because I'm looking at this Mirana 5 position 1 Nature's Prophet, and
so what's the deal? Sprout into arrow?
yeah, I mean the Timber's gonna cut right through that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It doesn't really feel like it's gonna do a lot here. I mean, they're doing very well at the start, level 1.
Yeah.
Arma getting totally pushed out of lane.
Mic.
That's the power of Nature's Prophet in the laning phase. In the first couple of levels, very, very oppressive. It's like Lone Druid, you know, he pushes the offlaner out of the lane.
You just A-click the treants at him. The Enchanted Quiver also doing quite a number onto Arma, forcing him low. Poor little Timber has to run for the hills.
Spirit sama Ember masih
He'll get
enakan
his
Ember
revenge
ya.
later in the game, once he makes it there, but for now it's still going to be rather difficult.
Apa? Earth iya. Bukan Ember.
Both off
Masih enakan Earth Spirit tapi kayak Ember Spirit tuh kebantu sama Flame Guard gitu loh.
I think this is
sama
the
aura
story of the meta
panasnya.
right now. The off laners are getting bullied because the safe
PO2
lane
betul ini
heroes are
best
just
of 2.
so strong.
It's a miserable
Nafis.
time to be an
Welcome ya,
offlaner
welcome to
right
the stream.
now. All your Drows, Wind
Best of
Rangers,
2
Shadow
teman-teman.
Fiends, get me out.
Tapi ini hari ini gue cuma
Miracle,
nge-stream
you
satu
can
aja
win
ya.
lane, and then you get your team pinging you non-stop.
Gue pengen apa?
That's what really hurts.
Kayak ya udah
Yeah,
pengen
that's why
cek
nobody
aja
wants
kayak
to
gue
play
pengen
off lane.
Yeah, high demand role by the way.
tahu. Oh ini ternyata post stream.
How's this brothers matchup in the mid lane? Ember
Nggak yang
versus...
ngoyok gue.
Should be pretty even.
Nggak ngoyok
I
kayak
think maybe
gue
slight
pengen
advantage to
nobar bla bla
Ember.
bla enggak. Nggak ngoyok saya.
You can slide and you can change. The chains are very, very nice against the Earth
Meters.
Spirit. You stop him from moving around.
Lalu tadi Rune Eaters tuh bisa menang coy.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit different now though, right? Because you were mentioning how Earth Spirits in the past, it was like rolling boulder non-stop. And then now it's kind of more like one rolling boulder to start the fight, and then you try and end the fight with a kick and a pull.
Yeah.
So it's, I guess in that sense, it's less oppressive because if you already finish your roll, a chains ain't gonna keep you very far because the other 2 spells got range to them anyway. We'll have to see. Eki, full command of the Skeeter, forcing the tombstone out.
First
I mean,
blood
Eki, he knows his limits better
Skeeter
than
mati.
anyone, but he's
Oh,
gonna
nice
go down to
banget,
boot.
Skeeter.
First blood drawn again, having to TP away from the tombstone because you're not running away from those zombies.
Skeeter.
Good decision there from Malik, but now he has to be extra careful not to get brought down.
It's not too bad for Falcons actually because they get a 1-for-1 trade and they get the Lotus. The Lotus is an important trade and Malik actually used his TP.
Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty expensive goal. Sure, they get the first blood, but it's not for free.
Absolutely not.
Alright.
These, you know, deaths on Skeeter don't really... Not that they don't matter a lot, but it's just you pick this Batrider and the Doom and this is your game plan, right? You're gonna get 1 or 2 kills, but then what you can do past that is another question. Lotus secured, now Ike on the chase. Amar in trouble. Amar, is he really gonna get right-click down here? Wow, the 2 ranged... I guess heroes just have enough damage in the tank.
He got
Tapi emang
bullied
di
by the
zoning out
treants
terus ya berarti ya
way
kayak
too much,
si
you know. Now there's a
Timber
Timber
ini.
hitting under the
Biar
Nature's Prophet tower.
damage-nya nggak masuk terus. Damage apa Brilliant Death-nya.
He's gonna need to wait for backup to arrive. I mean, Timber is good against MP later. I think later in the game, there's two strength heroes, Doom and Earth Spirit, and like Timber is always good against MP.
Okay.
So I think he can afford to be a little bit behind and still have a huge impact on this hero later on. Just based on the matchups. He's gonna have to, wait, unfortunately. Just try to be more patient and try to, survive the lane for them. That's a very nice creep to have, the ice armor on the Doom.
Yeah. I think the previous time he had the mana burn creep, didn't really pan out for him. Bot lane Amar, Aki's got TP in, ready to
He just died on the Timber.
Yeah, he's gonna die again. Dark Lord was getting pressure under the tower.
Mati 2 kali
Now
coy.
they're chasing on to crit.
Critnya bisa mati sih.
One more jump in, maybe you turn around for a straight rocket just to try and do something.
4-1.
Won't even throw it out. Ends up going down. This time around, it's the supports on Rune Eaters who are making these plays happen.
Yeah, Amar is just absolutely getting destroyed this game. And he's not having a great time in this lane.
Is it one of those things where you start asking a Clockwork to stack maybe for that recovery?
I mean, you can try, but the Clock has other things to do right now.
Mass TPs coming in. They want to at least preserve Malrine's game. Zombies peeled off. Soul Rip. Ooh, that was close. They almost found Eki, but not enough damage for the bat.
I mean, the runes are going to be very crucial. So Rune Eaters, they have seen the Undying using his Tombstone. So he won't have the Tombstone for the Rune. So maybe the advantage is going to be on the Rune Eater side. And then Falcons is already leaving. Maybe they understand that they don't have the Tomb. They can't really fight the Rune, so they're trying to play through the sides.
The air structures fortified.
A 6-minute Rune's going to spawn. I mean, Snaking is still staying around. Doesn't have Tomb, but just using his body to tank.
Oh, he is dealing a number onto Eki. Still able to dodge away up to the high ground, but Magnetize should take Snaking down as well.
Nice.
Starts rolling into
the Rune.
They
The Rune is
the Rune.
The Rune is the prize.
A crit is getting in his way. Copy's gonna get turned around upon, pushed to the side, and slighted down.
He needs to get the Rune. He needs to get the Rune.
He's gonna snatch it away. That's a small consolation prize, but still very, very painful for the side of Rune Eaters. Sure, they find Snake King, but they lose their mid to boot.
That's not too bad. If they didn't get the Rune, then it would be a complete disaster there.
Alright.
Skitter.
And Malik, you gotta be careful. There's a Tombstone you're running into and a Blood Grenade. They're ready to turn around. Meanwhile, bot lane Amar taking the equal amount of harass. Both off-laners having a miserable time, like you said.
Okay, susah banget itu
very
sih
good time
ini.
to be off-laners right now.
It really isn't.
Every game there's a draw and an S7 and a win.
Oh dear, here comes Malrine. He's hungry for action. Where is Malik going?
They're gonna get the shrine.
I guess so. It doesn't seem like they have a choice. No. Meanwhile, Dark Lord gets Amar. Still double shrine there for Falcons. And a nice light chains onto 2. Malrine says, you're not going anywhere. Burns him up already. The Malrine Ember Spirit is on fire.
Mulai susul-susulan lagi coy.
Malik is trying to look for a player. He's not level 6 on the Doom yet. What can he actually do?
Yeah, level 6 on the Nature's Prophet throws it out to try and clear the creep wave out, but they're just happy to tank it and put this pressure down. Yeah.
Waiting for the supports to TP back to the lane, but this is a very, very tall ask, for the Doom to defend this tower.
I think the tower's gone, Winter.
And nothing
2-0 Falcon nih bang.
On the Rune Eater side. Malik is not level
Kalau
6,
dari line up
sebenarnya
bisa 2-0, cuma kalau ngelihat tadi game 1 masih bisa 1-1 coy.
I mean, this is like the problem with all this SF draw heroes, they just win the lane and
masih bisa 2-0 Falcon
so quickly. And it becomes a problem for you to farm your triangle when you lose your tier 1 towers that early. And now, the Rune is going to be bought. Arcane Rune. Crit is going to spoil it out. Marine's going to TP over to control it. And Falcons are looking at this Ember to create a ton of pressure onto the Rune Eater side right now with the Rune acquired.
Still level 3 Bat Rider, still level 4 Mirana. They are not going to be able to do a thing but flee.
Malrine-nya sih.
That's what happens when you lose both Wisdom Shrines. It's just not a good look. All the resources being burned out, Sal's force. I mean, the pressure is mounting here from Falcons. The Rune Eaters, they really need to try and find a way to stabilize. They'll start by Maybe
Lanjut,
bringing
teman-teman.
some numbers towards
Bang
Amar,
Ros sponsor
play through their
MBG
winning
kapan
lane.
kagak usah.
They have
Nggak
the
usah sponsor
Nature's Prophet
MBG
ultimate.
kocak
They
kagak
need
ada
to
di
use
sini.
it to get a kill.
Sponsor di
The
sini tuh
ES
Albaik
rotating
ya.
somewhere.
Albaik
I
ayam
mean, the thing
goreng
is they're too
teman-teman ya.
busy responding to
Yeah,
Malween's
they
pressure
have
in the
to
mid lane.
find their own place.
Kalau
They
yang mau
cannot
nyawer,
keep
pakai
constantly
ini aja,
responding. They need to
bagi.co
move away
guys,
from
biasa.
the mid lane. Try to
Yeah.
play top,
yang
you know,
mau
go
tapi
find the SF.
nggak akan
I
nyala
thought
media
Kopi
share
was
ya.
going to go to the bot lane. He was pathing
Kalau
towards
stream
that
kayak gini,
location,
gua
but then
backup
as soon
off
as he
aja.
see Ike's in trouble, he starts walking back towards mid. And now Dark
Lord.
Lord's being pressured as well. Amar,
Holding
he's
that.
having a bad start, but he'll cut down his
coy.
counterpart here. And meanwhile, Twin Gate Skeeter from out of
Double
nowhere.
kill, coy.
It's a double kill for
ATF.
Amar. I mean,
Amar,
Falcons, they are
Amar.
making this early game movement look
Welcome ya, Faris
easy.
ya.
And Rune Eaters are falling
suara aman kan,
right
suara?
into their trap. Mid lane, Copy. He'll get tombstoned upon. That first roll already used, and he is going nowhere. Maybe Malik can still find something. Think about a Doom onto Malrine, but
Malrine.
I think understands the chase is
69
not
skor
viable.
sementara.
And Falcons are just making their own pressure, whereas Rune Eaters, they're just like responding to everything Falcons is throwing at them. This is a very, very common mistake. And now keeping
You
it to die
TP in to
again.
try and get the tomb, but you...
Eki-nya
I
mati
mean,
dong.
none of that even makes sense because Eki TP's in.
Padahal tadi early-nya
he
udah
tries to
early
start
unggul
hitting
di
the
bawah
tomb.
loh si
The tomb is
Siapa?
going to
Si
expire before he even
Universe.
finishes
Jadi
auto-attacking it, and it's just
crumbling
such
gini,
an easy pickup. Like, you have to wonder what the idea was there.
They're just bleeding too many kills.
Hanya replay.
And this is just perfect from Malrine
Pak
here.
Remnan, aman ya suara ya.
It's illegal.
Suara
that the
casternya
Timber is allowed to
sama
kill
suara
the
gua
Nature's
masih
Prophet.
tinggian
They get a
siapa?
dupe right now onto the Timber Saw.
Okay,
I mean, they're gonna get a kill.
that's something. Whether Malik can get out is another question.
no,
Of course
he
not.
can't.
Bro, Malrine is popping off on this Ember Spirit. He is doing the most.
He's
Orang
been
dapat
picking up all the
Malik.
runes.
He has.
Maliknya sih agak
Probably the best
miskin
hero
ya
of the
tuh lo
runes,
lihat
you
tuh
know. I mean,
3,300
3.300 coy.
figuring out the way to beat Rune Eaters, man. You just pick up all their runes and they look a little bit flaccid. It's not really the best look.
They need to be creating their own plays on Rune Eaters. They need to create their own pressure points. They are constantly reacting. It's similar to the last game. They kept TPing, they kept moving their heroes. Oh, okay. Falcons are pressuring here. Let's go here,
go.
respond to their pressure. They're not trying to, all right, just let them get that area. We're going to make a play on this area, Like, Malik is just TPing left and right to assist his teammates. I think they need to start changing this and create their own pressure on their own terms. The Earth Spirit needs to be moving to the side lanes. Just give the mid lane to the support and try to make plays on the side, combining two cores, with Nature's Prophet, TPing in,
Aduh,
Earth Spirit
sama Bang Imbang
rotating,
suaranya oke.
and getting kills.
Tapi emang clockworknya sih
They're just really,
selalu
really passive right now.
apa,
I feel like they're
si
just
siapa,
not
tripnya selalu
utilizing
ini
the
ya.
heroes that they
Paling
picked
atas
very
kalau
well in
nge-stack.
the early stages.
Now that you mention it, I don't even remember seeing a Nature's
Moonlight
Prophet
Shadow.
TP in for anything so far. It's just been
Oh,
sitting in the
kenapa
bot lane.
Emberin
Could
nggak
just
main
be
di
any other
Stealer ya?
range carry. You would not be able to tell me otherwise.
Padahal Emberin
Yeah,
bisa main di
basically
Stealer
they
loh.
just got the value of winning the lane, but after winning the lane, they just didn't really
Shot nice.
translate that into anything.
Shot onto Copy. Slight chains. That's the pain that you talked about. The cogs following through. No roll for him, and Copy just easily run down.
Yeah, things are looking very rough. Rune Eaters, they don't know what to do. They're just sitting and
Si
waiting. And if you
Timbernya
sit
mau
and
ke
wait
arah
against an opponent
Sensen
that
kaya.
is as good as Falcons, you're just going to get picked apart. They need to involve the Earth Spirit with the Nature's Prophet TP to get a pick-off on the side lanes. They cannot play in the mid lane against the
I
Ember
mean,
Spirit.
they just keep walking
ini
up into
one-sided sih
Malrine. They're
actually.
feeding him
Ini udah agak susah sih.
plates and
NP-nya
plates
bakal
of
susah
support
banget buat
kills.
farming kalau menurut gua kalau
This
ngeliat
Ember
posisi kayak
Spirit,
gini ya.
he is having himself a monstrous game. And to be honest, he hasn't even been hitting creeps that much. He's running around non-stop, slicing up these heroes,
Gila,
and he's still top net worth.
10.800
Darlord's
damage
been AFK farming the
dealt-nya, tapi
entire
Timbernya
time,
bakal
bot
mati,
lane not involving
harusnya.
himself at all, and
Dikit
he's still
lagi.
being eclipsed. 7-0-3 at the 12-minute mark. That is nasty.
Yeah, he's going to the
7-3.
Vessel plus Mage Slayer
12.
on the Ember Spirit. We've talked about the Mage
Ember.
Slayer. It's a very, very good Mage Slayer game. Malik
Good
just once
office.
again TPing to the mid lane. They're just constantly doing this move.
Nah, this...
Like, they need to start their own move. They need to stop TPing.
I don't know if you, I'm just turning around looking at Malik because I know that guy is frustrated. It might have worked in the first game where he was walking around with his team. He TP'd, he made it happen. Maybe this is their moment. Get a Doom off onto the Ember. This is a
Embernya.
big
Oh,
kill.
mahal
They
sih, mahal
needed that
banget.
so bad and they get
Mahal
it.
banget killnya.
Meanwhile though, Amar gets a kill onto Dark Lord somewhere on the
Tapi
other
Amar
side of the
dapat-
map.
Not for
dapat
free.
So it's
NP.
not really that great of a feeling. You want to be celebrating in this moment, but instead now it's a bit sour.
And you use your Doom. And what are you gonna do the next couple of minutes? You know, the next minute or so.
I think you suffer.
I think they need to fight. They can't run away. They need to defend their areas. They still need to use your Earth Spirit Magnetize. You still need to use your Lasso. You still have other spells. Doom. Sure, you don't have your Doom, but you're still strong coming to the fights with the Scorch Earth and your Infernal Blade. You know, I don't think they have to give up their position. They need to defend their jungle.
Sheer amount of levels that the Mirana got out of that pick off on the Ember was huge. Went from like what, low level 6, late level 5 to level 7 in an instant. But yeah, I agree. I think Rune Eaters, they need to try and come together, use that Nature's Prophet. 3 calls out here in this area if the Nature's Prophet wants to participate, but it's just a bit too concerned about the Ember. I feel like Rune Eaters don't think they can deal with the Ember without the Doom. That's a bit awkward, but they still find themselves a kill. That's something. Make use of the vision in the river.
I feel like if they catch him with the Earth Spirit, roll plus silence and the bad lasso, they can still kill the Ember. Why not lasso into the arrow? Why not? Why do they need the Doom to kill the Ember Spirit?
Well, to be fair to them, they also didn't have lasso for a very long time until like 1 minute ago. This Bat Rider was
but you have it right now, so that's not a...
That's not an excuse.
Not an excuse anymore. You need to be able to play Dota, even though you don't have one ultimate.
Come on, Eki, you heard him. Time to get going. Lasso somebody, brother.
I think they're just way too afraid.
Ekinya belum flame lasso sama sekali sih.
I mean, don't tell me he's waiting for the Blink Dagger. Because he's like 400 gold off it.
Yeah,
don't tell me he's waiting.
You don't need those items. You need coordination right now. You can still kill heroes.
Oh dear. Well, someone's killing heroes, but it's not Eki. Not what you want to see. That is rough, to say the least.
Aduh, susah ini Rune Eaters.
Rune Eaters, we've yet to see this grit from them.
Rune Eaters susah sih. This middle section of the map, you know, they needed to be playing on the sides because their heroes are designated to play on the sides with the MP, with the Bat, with the Earth Spirit. And now the same thing is happening again. SF plus not dying. They're getting the Roche at the same time. I mean, I don't know if Rune Eaters is gonna get a second chance, you know, to come back in the game like the first game.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're that weak. You know, they're playing like they can't fight at all. But I refuse to believe that's the case. I think they're behind. Yes, I cannot deny the fact that they're behind, but it doesn't mean they can't fight at all. They're playing like they cannot fight at all. They have Earth Spirit Ultimate, they have Lasso, they have Arrow, they have Nature's Prophet Ultimate. Sure, you don't have Doom, but you still can fight. They're just doing nothing.
Harusnya sih ketahuan sih. Aduh, nggak ada sentry, coy.
I will say that specifically for Rune Eaters, we've seen them in the previous few games, in the previous series, finding opportunities, and now this might be what they're looking for. Ike on the front line. The Mirana's not really a hero that can give you much in that position though. Trying to dodge away from that last auto attack, goes down, hook shot. There's the follow-up.
Ekinya mati dong.
I mean,
aduh.
I don't really know what Rune Eaters are going for. It feels like a second time in a row we're seeing this Mirana come out, and I don't know what the Mirana does. Really.
He's just supposed to push the lanes. I feel like he needs to just go and push lanes. Like being the smoke, I'm not so sure. You know? I think if the Bat has dagger, you want to be in the smoke with the Mirana to follow up, it's fine. But this comes back to what I'm saying. They do not allocate the heroes to the right jobs in the game. They know they need to make a move, but how are you going to make the move? Who's supposed to be pushing the waves?
Yeah, why is it always Malik making every move?
Like, Malik is just TPing around.
Yeah, non-stop. He's kind of sacking his own game to try and enable the others. But I feel like you got a Nature's Prophet and you got Earth Spirit. Those guys can move on the map easily. They don't even need to use a TP scroll.
Ini tinggal gimana naik high groundnya sih sebenarnya
dari siapa si Falcons. The game is not over for sure, but it's just the way they're playing just doesn't really give them any opportunities of finding a kill on the map.
Masih early banget karena NP-nya masih farming, coy.
But I feel like there might not be a lot of time more for him to farm. You know, the map is going to close in on him. They're going to lose all the towers, and then what? You know, they need to hold a defense somewhere. They need to choose a position to defend. You cannot just give up the map entirely.
Rune Eaters very much making a conscious decision here to allow the SF in to Falcons' hands twice. First game, there was a much more, I think solid response, but now, yeah, like what is he doing?
Unnecessary
right? Like,
move,
what are you doing there?
Mirananya.
Like it's already too late, you know, this needs to be nearer. If they're smoking in and they're about to arrive at the tower, you can do that, you know. but he's just too fast. You know, he TP'd down, he wanted to clear the wave, and he just feeds a kill. And now it kind of ruins the whole move. You just use a smoke for nothing because you're one hero down.
Yeah, this has not really been Ike's series so far. I think even earlier on the clockwork, there were a lot of questionable hookshot misses.
I don't think it's an individual thing. It's just about the team comms. You know, like what are they saying? What they need to do during it. Maybe somebody said that somebody needs to go defend the tier 1 bottom, and then we're gonna smoke down. But then because they were too slow, you cannot send the hero just down to die.
You know what I will say, Winter? I agree with you that it's like a team-based thing, because I'm sure they're making macro movement calls as a collective. But I think this Rune Ethers that we're seeing in this game is such a different Rune Ethers from the previous ones that we've casted. Whether it was yesterday, whether it was even the game number one we just saw. Because I don't know, where's the Rune Ethers that finds creative ways to push themselves back in? Where's the Rune Ethers that takes risks? They're not taking anything. They're not even taking a chance.
And to be fair, their opponent is stronger today.
That's true.
Actually didn't play very well yesterday.
That's fair. If you're getting outclassed here, this is the chance. Onto Malrine. He doesn't have the second life, but they couldn't chain the stuns up. They will have to settle for crit.
I mean, look, it's possible. If they landed their spells, they would have gotten a kill. They needed to do this before. They don't need to wait for the dagger on the bat. Roll in, kick him back, and then you get the lasso, and then you get the arrow. That's it. This is what needed to happen 5 minutes ago.
Agreed. Was that a bare naked Lincolns that I saw on top of a spirit vessel for Malrine? I thought he was going for a mage slayer. I guess he decided to change his mind.
Yep, it's a good Lincoln's game.
Yeah. There you go.
Vessel Lincolns, not something you see quite often on an Ember Spirit.
Yeah, you ask yourself the question, how are they going to kill him? They cannot lasso him, they cannot doom him. They're going to have to try and cancel it with Sprout, which is awkward. Like, how I don't even know how that's going to go.
Get and use.
Menit 21.
Get a false stuff.
Shot of wisdom ketiga.
But then it gives the Ember Spirit time to run away.
Gue salat dulu ya, guys. Gue izin salat. Sampai dulu, guys.
Not a good idea to try to kill Marine.
Udah mau komat soalnya, jadi gue harus salat dulu, guys.
You missed the opportunity. But like you said, Winter, game is far from over. There are still chances where Rune Ethers can find them. It's just a matter of actually taking those risks and setting yourself up. Still kind of trying to figure out what the plan is here. Rana instant TP, that's pretty funny.
Udah, salat dulu guys, bentar. I'll be back.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to figure out what they need to do here. They probably have to just try to look for a pick-off on the other heroes. You cannot really kill the Ember, so Timber is probably the only target you want to take down. Try and find him.
When the hell, sorry, side topic. When the hell did Falcons find an opportunity to put a ward right inside of the base of Rune Ethers?
No idea.
How do they have vision right there? Like, that is crazy because it sees a bunch of these players returning to their tier 3, grouping up together. I mean, the smoke move's obvious at this point. You're still gonna get a roll out onto Amar. There's the hook shot in. Eki's in trouble. Eki probably gonna get mowed down here. It's still returning the damage. At least the lasso comes on through. Darklord, he's putting out the damage onto Snake King, who still manages to survive. Now it's the Shadow Fiend in the middle of the river, but Malrine is doing work. That's what you want to see from the Ember Spirit. He is unkillable with the Lincolns. Onto Darklord, now chopped down to bits. And all that Falcons pay for is with their supports. Rune Ethers, I mean, that was, what, one of the only fights they've taken in the past 5 to 10 minutes? I can't really be mad about that, but maybe you start to see why they're so scared.
Maybe it's already too late, you know, because now the Timber had Lotus. Imagine if the Timber didn't have Lotus.
Yeah, you just go onto him and he might just be a free kill.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now Copy might be a free kill as well. Try and roll. No. Earth does not do too well against hard metal, brother. That's painful stuff. Copy, he gets chopped down from what looked like half HP.
Yeah, this was a Timber that got absolutely destroyed in the laning phase.
He had no lane.
He had no game.
He had no game. You were saying this guy's eating shit, right? He looks like he ate good. He looks like you gave him an investment bank account with $1 million to start. He looks like a trust fund kid at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the result of how Rune Ethers were playing the game.
Yeah.
They just didn't really do anything in the game.
I still don't know how Amar managed to set up a kill onto Darklord after getting decimated like that. That's illegal
it's
stuff.
It's a hero matchup because Timber is a very good hero against Timber. Nature's Prophet.
I mean, they picked the Nature's Prophet into the Timber, still didn't really
for the
work
lane.
out.
I mentioned it was for the lane.
Sure. Does the lane only last 6 minutes? Unfortunate.
You create an advantage of the lane, you need to know how to use that advantage.
That's fair.
You need to build on it, Mike. You can't just say, I picked this hero for a lane and that's the end of the plan.
Copy is probably going to go down. Just need a few more right clicks. Nope, Rogue comes through. They'll survive this time, but again, zero commitment there from Falcons. They just walk up, do a bit of damage, back up, force some TPs, and map control is theirs yet again. Yeah, this was a very close kill pre-Linkins. They got the lasso as well. Probably need to go back to live though, because it looks like there's a smoke move coming out. It's a big fight. Oh, both spirits run into each other. Still trying to go onto Clockwork. I mean, I'm looking at the live screen right now. Action's brewing. Dark Lord trying to fight into Amar, but he can't stand up against the damage of the Shadow Fiend. He'll BKB right in the middle of the river, but they can just kite away from him. No one on Rune Eaters is helping this Nature's Prophet lock down Falcons.
I mean, Timber he just really took a massage right now. He's full health. He does not care. You already used your BKB on Nature's Prophet, and what now, you know? Roche could be spawning in a minute. You don't have Magnetize. That's rough.
Well, luckily for the side of Rune Eaters, they will have time for their BKB cooldowns to come back. They will have time to regroup because Roche isn't spawning for another full minute. Falcons, they are the ones with an advantage though in this bottom river position. We'll have the outpost access for any semblance of a buyback fight. Lincoln's gonna block. Sprout attempt. Dark Lord. We'll try and TP out. Oh yeah, well the cogs they're always gonna do that to you. I can understand the Nature's Prophet for the lane. I can understand it for the map play. But then you win the lane and you don't do anything with the advantage, and then you don't really play the map very much. You're just sitting in the bot lane farming non-stop. You don't TP into any of these engagements. Nothing started like ever. So I don't really know. Okay, get the lasso out. And the Doom, okay, I mean, Maureen's probably going to go down here, caught out all alone. Didn't expect them to be able to stack those spells. But now, do they have anything to do with Amar? The answer is no, which is why they're all leaving.
I mean, it's just a pick-off, right, at this point. Can they do anything with this right now? Can they get an objective? Can they actually shove waves out? Because every time you get a kill, you need to be able to do something with it. And it doesn't seem like Rune Eaters are able to do anything with this kill.
Yeah, because Nature's Prophet is dead.
Yeah, and they're gonna lose Roche.
Oh.
No Doom, no fight, so you have to give it up.
You got Magnetize though. Moonlight Shadow. Rune Eaters want to try and battle over here in the pit. Crit's gonna spot him. They have a sentry in the area. Copy just can't get the roll out. Both supports are bodying away the mid, and this does not work out at all. Copy is gonna try and get himself over the tree line, but blocked non-stop. Snaking and Crit right in his way. They don't allow the Earth Spirit any entry into the fight, and Falcons choosing to keep things safe. Back out of the pit, back in right now. Still a bit cautious because Rune Eaters, they're around the area trying to spy for an opportunity. Eki gonna start Firefly. Now Reen's gonna spot him though. That was not the timing you were looking for, and Eki can't make it over the tree line. And Rune Eaters at this point, they're throwing bodies into the mix, but nothing but a pile of dead corpses, including Roshan's, that will gather Skeeter the Aegis. Everything going according to Falcon's plan, Winter. I just don't really see what Rune Eaters were trying to do with this draft in terms of a curveball. They didn't really play it to what we imagined it would be, and then that only leaves the question, what were they hoping for?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, Mike. I don't know if I can answer that question. I think they just look like they didn't know how to play the map, you know. And this game, Falcons didn't really give them an advantage, give them a way back into the game. The last game they did, you know, with the Roshan attempt, but this game, it's much cleaner from Falcons when they were claiming Roche. Rune Eaters tried to contest the Roche, but they couldn't really get anything done.
That's tough, man. The catch us if you can right into running into a clockwork. That is... Oh. You know what, Ike, as a personal favor, I'm going to pretend I didn't even see that. That's tough.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't really have the right heroes doing stuff, you know. Like, you see, Earth Spirit needs to be on the side lane setting up. They need someone else to hold the mid lane. It's actually probably maybe sometimes you can go there as ES to clear the mid wave, but the play needs to be spread around the sides of the map with the MP TPing in. I don't think we've seen a single gank from ES or Bat, and then the MP TPs in to get a kill.
Yeah, literally zero.
It's always like around the mid section. Something happens, they respawn and they fight.
Like he's trying to run. Better find himself a corner to TP out behind. But yeah, completely agreed. I feel like, I mean, it's again, I hate to say this, but it's another game where I don't feel the presence of the Dark Lord from Rune Eaters. There definitely is a presence from the Dark Lord on Falcons, though. They are mowing over these towers, mowing over these objectives. Another game where they just get an SF Undying, and you can see how potent that combination is. The rest of the pieces on Falcons complement it perfectly as well. Nothing but bodies to protect the Shadow Fiend.
Oh boy, that was tough to watch. Didn't want to use BKB to get out against Battery Assault. They are just crumbling. Heart of Taurus on ATF.
Hey, he's really liking this item. I saw him build it on the axe earlier on as well. He just knows his job is to be a body and soak up as much damage as possible. So he's getting a heart. He's going to stand there, he's going to tank the spells. Yeah, it ain't a thing.
Because they nerf all the other items. Like the BKB got nerfed, you can't refresh your double BKB. So heart becomes like the next tanky item to survive in the team fights.
Next best thing. Flamethrower to push these towers even more. I mean, I fear the end is nigh here. Rune Eaters, compared to that game number 1, a lot less fight, a lot less options that they've given themselves. And I don't even know whether I can... maybe I can blame them. Maybe I can say it's on them, because it feels like they could have... There were things they could have done. But now Skeeter's banging on your high ground. Fight's about to break out. Aki's just looking for an opportunity. Lincoln's going to break the first time. Waiting for a lasso.
1.5 minutes on the Aegis. Do they want to go on the SF right now?
This is risky. Pull the SF in, try and get the first kill, roll in, no tombstone. That's the first life. A lot more work to be done though. BKB's thinking about the Doom. Malik will throw it out on the Timber, but now that means Skeeter can just turn around and Requiem them away. The rest of Rune Eaters can't stand their ground because Darklord's in trouble. Darklord does not have the HP to stand his ground and fight. Malrine seemed to be safe for him, saved at the last moment by the Tombstone. Malrine, he's gonna slide and be able to remnant himself away. He will survive, but the Doom will not, and they're farming these heroes in the Fountain Winter. This is cruel.
Man, Falcons, they're respecting the buybacks, they're backing off, but Rune Eaters, they need to get something here right now, right away.
I mean, what's the plan? Darklord, he's trying to approach the fight, but he just can't find an angle in to do the damage. The only person you're hitting is the Timbersaw, and he's got a heart, mind you. He ain't gonna mind that at all. Now onto Copy, knocked down by the Shadow Fiend, and on to the next. I mean, that's done. XD in the all chat, that's not the GG you were looking for. Let's go come real soon. Rune Eaters. You can have all the grit and resilience in the world, but it's not going to bail you out of this sticky situation. Are your last pick a Nature's Prophet for the lane, for the pressure, for the map play? None of it really came to fruition. Just a very quiet game, and this time it felt like Malik, he had to try to do everything for the team on the Doom. He was just TPing around non-stop. He just couldn't get it all done. The final pieces mopped up off the ground. Buybacks are there. They try and lasso in the Timber. At least get the kill onto him for some sort of reprieve, some sort of relief, but they can't even find him, and they know you can see it on their faces. That's tough. That is real tough. But Rune Eaters, that is going to sting for them because they came so close in game number 1. They had their opportunities. They tried to run it back again versus the Shadow Fiend in game 2, but it just doesn't work out. The Dark Lord continues to be unbeaten, and I'm not talking about the one on Rune Eaters. This Shadow Fiend, it is a problem. And teams keep letting it through.
It's not about the hero. I think this game, the problem is the team itself. Rune Eater's play and the macro understanding what they need to do, who needs to do, who needs to push out which lane, who needs to hide. I think they just don't really have that down the T. And that's kind of costing them. I agree with SF being an imbalanced hero, but they're not losing the game because SF is just too strong. They couldn't even play the game because they're not moving around the map and utilizing the heroes for who they are, and they just couldn't really create opportunities in the game to get pickoffs. I think the problem I have is they just sat, after winning the bot lane so much with the Nature's Power, they just sat on that advantage. They didn't play the side lanes, they didn't move the ES, and they just kept responding, keeping mid with the Doom. They moved the support spirit, they fought the Ember spirit. I think it's okay for them to leave one support mid to take XP, but then they have to create a play with the Earth spirit on the other side of the map, on a side lane, and use the MP to TP in and get a kill. But they just kept responding fight after fight, TP mid, and they just did nothing the whole time. And Timber, because the pressure was in the mid lane, he was so poor, but then he got to recover because he was not touched after the laning phase.
He was just handed a benefits check back into the game. He didn't even have to do anything, got a handout for free. It was rough. I mean, Amar Timber, you already know it's going to be a problem. You did a good job maybe pressuring him out in the early stage of the game, but this is a hero that needs to be squashed down completely. It's so weird because your last pick on Nature's Prophet, I feel like your last pick on Nature's Prophet, the first thing on the top of your mind, you're like, we're gonna gank the shit out of them.
Yeah,
we're gonna go
TP to the SF lane.
I'm gonna TP to the SF lane. I'm gonna TP to the mid lane. I'm gonna everywhere the Earth Spirit goes, I'm right there with him, buddy. But then they buddied in a different way. They just never saw each other. They were long distance friends. They never wanted to meet. They were only online.
They were in the same jungle.
They were dating in the same jungle. They did not want to hold hands. They were just hitting creeps. I'm hitting creeps on one side. You're hitting creeps on one side. They're like, good job. Winter, good job. And that's it. And that's it. We did not see them participate in any action. Meanwhile, the supports, the Doom, trying to run mid, trying to salvage the situation. They see a fire in the mid lane. They're like, oh shit, I guess we gotta come. And then the fire is actually the Ember Spirit, burns him up alive.
He's that person in the company that gets to do all the OT but doesn't get paid. That's Malik.
Bro, whatever they pay him, they need to double it. Double it, triple. I don't give a shit. This guy, same deal as yesterday, right?
But then he's making another problem. So by TPing mid, he's actually creating more problems.
Yeah.
Because if you think about how they should be playing, they need to be playing on the side, and he needs to be on the side, right? And he needs to yell at people to go to him. But because he's making the TP, okay, whatever reason it is, maybe he's saying and people are not coming, so he decides to TP me. But that doesn't solve the problem. That actually creates
more problems.
Another problem.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But then it's also one of those things where once you're that far down the process of problems creating more problems, that's where it can get scary, right? We already talked about it. You know, for example, like a team like Falcons, they got support staff, they got analysts, they got coaches. They have all the resources in the world to actually identify these problems and get to the root cause. But when you're a team like Rune Eaters, I'm sure Coach Mag is working his butt off, but you can only do so much as one guy. And then you see all these compounding problems. It's very easy to maybe isolate the wrong one, right? What if you get to the point, what if their conclusion is that, oh, actually Malik,
it's okay for you.
You know, it's fine for you to do this. We should have done something else, right? It's just a complete misalignment.
Okay, we missed our spell, you know, that's why it didn't.
Yeah, we didn't work out the way that we wanted.
That's why coming down, and this is a really good point, coming down to the right conclusion is extremely important, because for the team to move forward, you need to understand precisely what was wrong in the game.
Yeah.
Anything missed or misleading for the team is going to derail the team in the long run. So it's very important to come to the right conclusions.
It's easier said than done, right? That's the biggest problem in Dota. And I mean, on top of that, you're also saying Rune Eaters, they also seem to have a bit of a fundamental problem with the assignments of the heroes. That's not something you can fix overnight, even if you study the whole day.
Overnight, bro.
Overnight, there's the years of hard work.
It's not something you fix in a week even, you know. It might take a month or maybe a couple of weeks at least. You go through replays, you sit down, you hold hands, you look at the replay, you talk to each other. Do you think that you're not supposed to do this? Do you think you go to the right and then you go left, you know, you talk to your teammates, and then you have to come to a mutual understanding. This is how we're going to play the game. This is the most efficient way, and everybody needs to agree. And if you don't agree, but you have to pretend you agree. In the game, you just got to deal with it. Yeah, you have to deal with it. You have to get everyone on the same boat, whether they like it or not, if you want to have a chance against the top teams.
Yeah, I mean, that is something that takes many years of experience, right? I think it's really hard to come to that consensus. It's not something that happens overnight. And even though this Rune Eaters team was playing for a while before they became this organization, it's not quite as much as the guys on Falcons. I mean, Falcons, they've been together as a team for what feels like 3 years at this point. And we have none other than the man himself, Snaking, joining us for an interview to tell us all about that. Snaking, welcome to the desk. Nice to have you. Yeah, amazing. I mean, first and foremost, of course, congratulations. 2-0 series. I think, you know, probably coming into this, was this the expected outcome for you?
There were no expectations coming in. We were just playing it by the ears, just trying to improve from each game and learn from it.
Okay. Well, I know that, at least for us, the Shadow Fiend has been a really big topic, right? There's no surprises, no real secret that it's a hero that seems like none of the teams can really beat right now. Okay. I mean, even you guys are picking it, even though we feel like, at least between myself and Winter, we felt like it might not necessarily be a very comfortable hero for Skeeter. Do you feel like this hero just doesn't have a solution at this point, or do you feel like there's something just other teams are not really catching on to?
I think there's definitely solution, but every team kind of has different interpretation on how to deal with it. Some people will let it kind of free farm and like just try to catch up later, or some people try to contest the lane. I think today they picked Batrider doing both games, try to contest the lane. They're definitely trying to win the lane. And first game, both games I guess I made some blunders, but first game more so I gave first blood, but the second game I learned from the first game, and I think the lane was much better.
Panjang,
your undying looked
gitu
monstrous. I think you had a triple kill at some point. You were so giga farm that you just run past you, just like you are in real life. Well, I'm sure you got some questions for this man.
Yeah, I mean, I love playing the hero.
Snaking juga
Do you
kayak
think SF is the main
very
reason why
into details,
Undying is
guys.
coming back right now, or is there other reasons why Undying is going to be viable
waktu itu
at the
datang ke channel
moment?
gue buat interview.
I think it's definitely a bit about the meta, because you only really have these melee supports when the range heroes are in meta, like when the Whirlwind, Rim Ranger, the Nature's Prophet, you know, that's when like these like Undying Tusks were like popular as supports. And I think it just mostly revolved around how the meta is developing, and it might change throughout this tournament. We'll see.
Yeah, good to hear that. And the second question I wanted to ask is, do you think right now, because the map is so big, so that it's very difficult to end the game, so it's very important to get cores that skill into the game? Like, you always need heroes that can farm and be a force maybe 30-40 minutes in a game, and high ground is so hard to breach as well.
Yeah, the high ground is definitely very difficult to breach, but some teams like will like to play very fast-paced, like Team Liquid. They'll still do it at minute 25-30 with some sort of timing and in their lineup. And I think it just really depends on the styles of the team. I think for us, we're definitely more of a scaling team rather than just trying to end the game at minute 25-30, unless they give us opportunity, obviously. But I think right now, both strategies are viable. Obviously, it's not the easiest to go high ground, so you have to like really coordinate like a certain type of lineup to do it. But it's still viable, which is nice.
Yeah. All right. Last question for you, Snare. I don't want to take too much of your time. Of course, you know, the big thing with Falcons, you guys have been together for a long time at this point, and you're coming back to an event that I would say means quite a lot for not just you guys as a team, but the organization as well. Earlier on, you said there's no expectations, and, you know, that's kind of the best way players want to go about it. But is there any sort of sentimental feeling that you have coming back to this? Is there any sense that, you know, this might be the last chance to show your stuff as this unit before things change, or what's kind of the vibe of the team at the moment and for yourself?
I think everyone knows like this could be the last tournament you play together. You just don't know when you're gonna be washed, so we're just trying our best and playing every tournament as if it's our last, because I think you can't really just like look too much into the past or the future. You just kind of have to stay in the present.
And what's the present feeling like for you right now? What's this tournament feeling like? Have you guys come in feeling like this is going to be yours to take after the second place last year, or where are you at?
I mean, we're just taking one game at a time. I think right now our goal is just to get into the playoffs, hopefully through first seed, if not, you know, through the elimination in the bubble bracket. So, you know, that's our goal right now, just to get to the playoffs, one step at a time.
Yeah, this is not usually what you expect from the person who finished second last year, but of course, humble as usual. It's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining us, Snaking. I'll let you discuss with your team. I'm sure you have a lot to talk about, because apart from the Shadow Fiend, there are many more terrifying opponents, terrifying heroes to really worry about. But honestly, and I hate to say this because I think you guys already heard from me about Rune Eaters. I think they're a really solid underdog team. But Falcons kind of made it look like a walk in the park, right? This whole concept of the Doom and the Bat Rider lane to try and contest the SF early on, it made those two games look trivial and almost meshed up into one. I'm just curious how much Rune Eaters can really take away from this.
Yeah, I also like the way Snake explained the meta a little bit about how can you breach high ground and how is it important to have scaling heroes, and then at the same time there's still a way to breach high ground whether you have the opportunity or not, or sometimes with certain lineups you just need to understand how to build the lineup based on the heroes you get. So it's a lot of layers, like rock, paper, scissors. You need to understand when to do which, you know, and it's a very complicated subject that could take a long time to understand.
Absolutely. Well, Rune Eaters, they definitely woke up on the right side a bit yesterday, but today a little bit shakier. Not able to score themselves a win, but big congratulations to Falcons. I think this is the expected outcome. But coming up next, we move on over to Group B, where things are even spicier. Level Up did not manage to show us much of a convincing performance yesterday, other than maybe from their mid laner Einkrad, and now they're up against a much tougher opponent. They are facing against crowd favorites Liquid and our next best of two after a bit of a longer break. You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Alright, kita berarti udahan guys. Kalau udah, karena gue cuma satu series doang. Thank you for watching teman-teman. Thank you for watching. Thank you yang udah mampir juga. Besok tuh ada match apa ya, gue lupa. Tapi nanti kita double check lagi lah untuk yang berikutnya. So thank you for watching guys. Congrats Falcons karena udah menang 2-0. Jadi kita ketemu lagi di lain kesempatan. And yep, I think that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you yang udah like, thank you yang udah subscribe, thank you yang udah yang udah mampir juga. Ketemu lagi besok mungkin di jam yang sama, di kesempatan yang sama. So that's it. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.